But Port need to shake up and rattle the cage a little bit to get their season underway.
I want to ask you, Josh, about after a showdown. Now, you've played in showdowns. That next week, is there an emotional letdown, or do we read too much into that?
Probably both. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. I think if you come off a poor loss, which it was considered for Port Adelaide, they need to turn up and really fly the flag. I think positively for Adelaide, who came off an emotional showdown win, they trumped their form and had a good win over Fremantle. So sometimes yes, but Port, no excuses tonight. Got to turn up.
A quick ladder update for Isuzu, the versatile Isuzu D-Max. Live your own way in the Isuzu D-Max. Carlton sit atop the ladder with 14 points. St Kilda in second on 12, having only played the 3 matches with that match tonight. Collingwood played the 4 on 12 points. Melbourne in 4th on 8 points. Sydney on 8. Essendon on 8. Adelaide on 8. And Brisbane on 8. Round out the top 8. 14th played 5th. Today being 14th, Port Adelaide, and 5th on the ladder is Sydney with 2 wins and 1 loss respectively. I just want some key matchups quickly, JJ, for Corteva. Keep growing with Corteva Agri-Science.
Well, I got one for you, and that is the under fire Port skipper, Tom Jonas. I think he'll go to Isaac Heaney. He often plays undersized on the bigger forwards, and he might have to do that. He may have to do that because Sydney have got 3 tall forwards engaged, but I think Heaney's the danger. He's the wild card for Sydney. So Tom Jonas, play yourself back into form by going and shutting down Sydney's sort of key forward these days without Buddy being at the peak of his powers.
If you're looking at the midfield for Port Adelaide, who are you more worried about these days? Is it Wines or is it Rosé?
Nah, it's Rosé by far. Wines is still a bit of a tone setter because he can really get his hands dirty around the footy. He can win balls in contested situations, and not many others can. But Rosie's the one who's hard to tackle. Loose ball gets are very important in today's footy. So Rosie's the one, and Butters is the other one who needs to step up a little bit more as well.
That is the key matchups for Paradigm Aralex Active Herbicide, reliable wide spectrum weed control in cereals. We're going to get the final word from our experts. For local expert, join the service revolution and become a local expert just after this. But the Sydney Football Club, obviously wearing the black armbands for Kenny Williams, who was, saw him in the huddle, heart and soul of the footy club there. He passed away at the age of 93 years old. And as the captains make their way out into the middle of the ground for the toss, we need our final word from you, Josh Jenkins, for local expert.
Well, Port, they started the season with a bang against the Brisbane Lions. Since then, I reckon they've been pretty ordinary. They just need to get their work around the footy happening a bit more. They're number 17 in the league for contested possession, and they've been terrible conceding points from turnovers, so turning the ball over in terrible position. So the Power need to fix those 2 things up. And Sydney, they are very good scoring from stoppage, so I like their work around the footy, and that's an area they can get on top of the Power.
That was the pre-game show for Beaumont Tiles. Beaumont's floor tile sale. Choose Beaumont's for 20% off floor tiles now and before you dig Australia. Lodge a free inquiry online. Port Adelaide have won the toss. They'll be kicking to the left of your radio dial, which will be the Randwick end or the northern end of the SCG, with the Paddington end being the right hand of your radio dial. Sydney kicking that way. We're commentating, of course, from the members' side of the ground, and the stadium looking at dead set picture here at the SCG. A quick tip as we go around before we go. I'm thinking Sydney by only 10 points. They've lost the last 6 to Port Adelaide, JJ.
Yeah, they have. Swans by 24 points.
Yeah, I'm keen on the Swans too. I think it'll be around about 4 goals too.
Looking forward to this one. Last time they met, Connor Rosie had a dead set field day, 28 disposals and 1 goal, and Pau Pepper, he kicked 3. And for Sydney, Callum Mills had 25, and Tom Papley kicked a handful the time before that. So let's go to down on the ground. We'll see Ken Hinkley down on the boundary.
That's new, isn't it?
Thanks to Spitwater, high-pressure cleaners, tools, not toys, tough and ready.
Very new. And also Ollie Wine starting on the bench. That's also new.
Yeah.
So we see the matchups as they make their way out onto the ground. This is AFL Nation. The McDelivery of the ball for McDelivery has arrived on the My Maccas app for elders for Australian agriculture. Miles Fitzner, Josh Jenkins, Adam White to take you away with the call live from the SCG.
It's a big crowd too for Saturday night football in Sydney. It's the Swans and Port Adelaide. Alia, the former Swan, on Lance Franklin in the goal square. Perfect bounce to start things off. One down by Laddams, but taken in the end by Port Adelaide, and it's Rosé who gets the first clearing kick. It's a scrubbing ball towards half forward. Doing well there for the Swans is Florent to Stevens. Defensive handball to defensive 50. And the kick towards the wing. Up goes Heaney. Can't take the mark. Golden with the crumbs. Handball. It's a long one into the path of Papley. Alir coming in the other direction. Does extremely well. Gets tackled by Papley. Got the handball away to Powell Pepper. Big tackle from Florent. Ball jars free. Papley takes it 60 from home. Kicks inside the 50. Amani couldn't take the mark. McKenzie with the crumbs. It's a hot footy. And coming out with it for Port Adelaide is Houston.
So at left half back. It's a play down behind play. It looks like Florent. Up the line they go to Powell Pepper. His wheels inside. Runs his full journey. Had an option shorter. Uses it. Ball gets spoiled though. Stepping in. Houston. He wheeled around up to centre half forward, and sitting there pushing up was Boak. So he turned and burned. Went up inside. Kick cut off there by Laddams against his old side. It's been rucking well for Sydney Laddams. So it's centre half back. Looks laterally. Looks out towards McInerney. Had runners, now goes back towards centre half back, and a tight enough kick there marked by Dane Rampy. So Rampy, the switch now on, goes that way, finds Lloyd, comes towards our commentary position. Mark taken by Dylan Stevens, former Norwood Redleg, high draft pick. Short option presents. Uses him. It's Lloyd again, hard running from half-back.
A lot of marks, Port Adelaide giving up, uncontested marks early in the game. It sets a bad tone for them, so need to take some of these away.
So Lloyd sits it up, and Marty's going to have to sit under the ball. He tried to work to the front. Big punch from McKenzie as Port Adelaide now look to clear, but a free kick is paid for holding.
Yeah, it'll be a free kick to Port Adelaide.
It's going to go the other way.
Sydney.
He locked his arm in front. Very, very clever and smart decision from the umpire.
Yeah, so Lloyd will take it for the Swans. 2 good kicks out from goal, almost at right half forward. He's going to kick it into the pocket. He wants a Marty. Alir goes up. Crumbs to Papley close to the boundary. Tackle without the ball. No free kick. Stays in the field of play momentarily. Then goes over. Now, on the boundary, thanks to Spitwater, there is a problem for Florent already with that heavy hit earlier in the tackle with Powell Pepper.
Yeah, rib injury there. I reckon he landed sort of on the hip pointer of Powell Pepper, so that could be problematic for him.
Ball gets thrown in. Laddams to the front, but Port will clear. Out towards the wing. Marshall the target. Took good spoil, come over the top. And the ball goes over for a boundary line. 17.5 minutes remaining in this opening term. Miles, still no score.
No score to speak of on the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard. We do it all thanks to Tyre Power, number 1 this season. So the boundary throw in. 70 from the Sydney end, and the free kick going to be paid in the back going to Lycett against Laddams. You can hear the umpire. The ground effects. Looks to play on, nice and quick. They go through Butters, ball cut off. Port Adelaide still at centre half back now with Alir. Looks to go wide at Lycett. Laddams gets here in time. Quick to his feet. Alir against his old side. Tried to gather in front of Franklin. Hits his shin over the boundary line to the applause of the Sydney faithful. We'll have a boundary throw in.
They look aside, bereft of a bit of confidence, Port, don't they? Just some easy kicks going for uncontested marks, kicking along the ground and fumbling. So just need to get themselves into the game.
Lycett v Laddams near the paint of 50. The junction gets the ball to the front. Drew, he was held, given high in fact. Rosie now from the clearance. So he comes out towards centre wing. Wrapped up there was Marshall. Did well McCartney. Sits on top of his head. Marshall scrounging for touch. Couldn't gather. Inboard goes Rosie. Tried to sock it to himself. And tried to find a teammate there in Junior Rioli. Ball goes over the boundary. We'll have another throw in as we've gone, not that long. On the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard.
Yeah. Nice start around the footy for the Power. 4-zip in terms of the clearances for safety steel sheds. And Paddy McCartan's looks like he's got a nasty, I reckon it's an eye injury.
Yeah, that's a problem, another problem for Sydney. Heaney out of the contest, got the handball out, but it's Port clearing with the ball with Drew up towards forward 50. Now that is a free kick going to Port Adelaide. Blakey jumped high and early, and that'll be a free kick.
He's in trouble, and he's got that history too with concussions.
I reckon I saw him go for his eye. I'm hoping it's a real nasty. Well, I guess I'm saying that because of his history.
No, he's in big trouble.
Yep, he's groggy and taking multiple trainers to get him to the bench. And while that's going on, Marshall will take the free kick inside the 50, left of centre.
You never want to see that.
No good.
He's wonky, and with that history, Whitey.
Yeah, exactly right, which goes back a long way. So Todd Marshall will have to kick from right on the paint of 50. 45-degree angle, hooks it hooks it badly and does not score. Out of bounds on the full, so still no score.
About to see a replay here on the car sales. Everything you ought to know replay, Whitey.
It's hard to actually determine initially what happened there for him to be essentially knocked out. It's really hard to work it out, in fact.
He must have... Oh, it doesn't look much in it.
It's almost like he face planted the ground.
It might have been a knock even just before that, maybe. Sort of a delayed reaction. So Port Adelaide looked to go back inside 50, up towards dangerous territory. Getting in front was Tommy McCartan, sitting in and underneath. Mead is doing well, one way or the other. Power Pepper, pressure on here from the power. Lay a big tackle. And as we see again on the bench, looking at McCartan, he's in a bit of trouble.
He's in a bad way. They're not going to take any chances with him. I'd say he's most definitely done the way he stumbled from the field. So
Finlayson with a free kick. He'll have a shot on goal. About a 45-degree angle, about 15 to 20 metres out. So Finlayson back. He's been tearing up the SANFL. Obviously had some issues with his family. Married recently.
Yep.
From all reports out of the club, a great character. So Finlayson comes in, looks balanced, hit it nicely, and hit the post. So the first score registered, we've gone 6.5 minutes in the first quarter at the SCG for Elders Australian Agriculture, and one behind registered on the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard.
Swans wanting to go quickly and straight down the middle. Florence, he's back on the field. The kick, though, into midfield was no good. Rioli for Port Adelaide inside the circle. Spears it back inside towards centre half forward. Florent has one handball that missed, goes back and gets it again at defensive 50. Shrugs the tackle, goes short and finds Heaney. Heaney just outside the centre square, spreads it wide to the outer wing, and Parker takes the mark for the Swans. Inboard, short to Lloyd. Still centre wing, outer side of the SCG. Gives the handball, now the kick. Rampy, inside the 50, up they go. Boat was up high, got the spoil in at ground level. Row bottom first there for the Swans. Slides on the ball, got tackled, got it out somehow. Still in there going hard. Players from both sides sitting on the footy. There might be a free kick against Farrell. There's not. It'll be thrown up deep in Sydney's forward line.
Didn't want a bar of that going out, did he, Farrell? He wrapped it up. So, Lysett falls in over the top of Laddams. There's going to be a free kick holding going to Laddams, and Laddams tried to push back inside, I think, Josh Jenkins, and Lysett sort of fell over the top, and the holding free kick paid. And this is on a tightish sort of an angle, maybe 50 degrees, but not that far out.
And he's a left footer, so looks like he's lining up for the traditional drop punt. And I'm just keen to see that in the car sales, everything you want to know replay too. We'll get a look at that in a moment.
From the Clive Churchill pocket at the Paddington end, the right side for the left footer. Laddams just a little off wedge at it, straight through. Sydney get their first, so margin 5 points at the SCG for Glencore, Advancing Everyday Life.
Just keen to see that free kick. I think that might have been Laddams locking down that arm of Lysett, former teammates, of course. They battled for the same position for a few years. Laddams decided to go to Sydney. And this guy, Laddams, he's a good player when he... I don't know a lot about
focused.
When he's, I was going to say focused. It feels like he can get distracted and he can not necessarily be engaged and be doing the right things from a professional point of view. But when he's ready and his head's in the game, he's a good ruckman.
Thanks to Spitwater High Pressure Cleaners, there is a problem. And Paddy McCartan has been subbed out.
You can see that mark on the right eye, around the right eye, like his head butted the ground.
It didn't look like heavy contact, but clearly it was.
So we're back in the middle with Sydney getting the first goal of the night. The bounce will favour Lysett, although Laddams reached in over the top. Rowbottom rushes a kick inside 50 for the Swans. Buddy's lurking. Oh, he's got it, Buddy. Then he has a fresh air shot. Goes again. It comes out towards Papley. He gets tackled. This is a hot footy. A terrific work there from Ollie Wines. The defensive tackle gets rewarded with a free kick. Gives the handball to Farrell running past. Kicks up towards the wing. Finlayson forced to spoil from behind. He gets it out to the boundary for a throw-in. Swans 6, Port Adelaide 1, 12 and 3/4 minutes remaining in the first.
You know, the pressure's on and the game is running hot for Ream, Australia's favourite hot water, because Buddy missed his foot. He kicks 99 out of 100 of those.
We'll get some stats for safety steel sheds in regards to the tackle count because they've certainly brought the heat. Have Port Adelaide. Horn Francis, the first time we've caught him today, gets a clearance. Goes up to right half forward. Finlayson, he's presenting nice and early. Had a short option. Little dinky chip kick and he finds his target. So Mead going back. McEntee, in fact, into the side. Jed McEntee picked up from Sturt. And he played the 11 games. Jed McEntee marked this well within his range. He'll still kick from 43 or 4. Noted goal kicker, 45-degree angle. Sits it up, it drifts back and misses just off to the right-hand side. Another minor score. So the margin 4 points in favour of Sydney on the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard.
You'd be happy with that draw if you're at Augusta.
That's right.
Nice.
It's just a proper fade, wasn't it?
Blakey
Fade, is it? Not
runs
bad.
outside the goal square and kicks down the middle to Rowbottom, who moves it quickly towards centre half forward. There's a holding free kick, and it's going Sydney's way to Tom Papley.
Your man.
That's a worry, that matchup. That can't be by design to have Kane Farrell playing small, effectively full back on Tom Papley. It just can't be by design.
But Farrell's meant to be that user off half-back for them, but Mackenzie back in it is, JJ, odd.
And that looks like a man on the car sales. Sell your car the hassle-free way with car sales instant offers replay. That looks like a young man who's played no time.
He panicked, didn't he? Because Sydney moved the ball so quickly and they went directly. And now can they get full toll for the free kick? Papley leans back on it, floats it towards goal and misses to the left. That was poorly timed there from Tom Papley. The Swans leading 7-2, 11 minutes remaining in the first.
So out of defence they come. Dylan Williams, well, trusted with the kick-ins. His only game, Dylan Williams, has come against Sydney. It's an interesting little stat. It's recalled and is picked 23 in the 2019 draft. The last game, round 15, 2021. So the kick out towards Marshall. Amati jumps in on top, and what a size he is. Joel Amati, 195 and 100 kilos. The buddy replacement. So Finlayson and Amati did the ruck. Warner in there, poking underneath as well. Umpire said no, give it to me once more. 1-1-7. Sydney lead Port Adelaide, only 2 points.
As you'd expect, thanks to Spitwater down at boundary level, Paddy McCartan's pretty emotional.
Yeah, he'd understand the meaning of that. So they go up towards the junction. Dylan Williams, he just ran that over. No intention to keep the ball in, and sheepish sort of look towards the umpire. Not paid, a boundary throw in, and it's going to be right in front of the Clive Churchill stand, right at the junction. Wines front and centre here for Finlayson, and Amati tried to grab it out of the ruck. Finlayson did that instead. He gets a clearance up towards centre half back. Steaming in over the top was Fox. He's been subbed into the game. Finlayson is looking lively early as Jeremy. Only as far as Mills. They go back inside 50 now. Sydney, no one at home. It's got to be a holding free. And no, it's going against Franklin. Thought it was paid for holding, going to Aliir. So Aliir looks to clear from fullback.
Buddy shaking his head as Aliir kicks to a contest. He wants Dixon, got there late, off hands. It's Warner for the Swans. He was dispossessed. Horn Francis did extremely well. Strong in the contest, then got knocked down after he kicked it. Advantage paid. Finlayson gets the handball away. The kick inside the 50. It's about 25 from goal. Rioli at ground level gets knocked over. Blakey gets the hand pass to Rampy. He's got to be quick as Marshall came with a chase. Got it out wide. Stevens, will it sit for him before the boundary? It won't. It'll be thrown in 35 around from Port Adelaide's goal in the right forward pocket.
You can see why Port Adelaide have had trouble with scores from their own turnovers. They're keen to go for kicks that probably aren't quite there. They're taking a lot of risks, and I know Ken Hinkley's always been an attacking coach, but they probably need to wind a few of these back.
Shallow throw in. Dixon wins it down. Taken though by Mills for the Swans. Clearing kick towards the outer wing. Aliir with the spoil at ground level on the logo. They all jam in on top, and the umpire will come in and call for it.
Just around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Head into Chemist Warehouse for great savings every day. St Kilda 2-2-14 leading the Gold Coast 1-3-9 there at Marvel. Marty and Finlayson again. The ruck change in and under Heaney. He gets wrapped up by Drew. Wines tried to flick a quick handball. Mills. He's flicked out. Try to find Florent. Big Shepherd applied. So Florent up inside 50. Buddy the target sort of backed out. and sat off. McDonald, he was in there as well. So was Harry Cunningham. But a clearance from Port Adelaide only lands in the hands of, I think that's Ollie Florent once more. Yep. Short option, wheeled around from 50. Big shot, not going to make the journey. Sitting underneath it was Heaney. Couldn't gather, wrapped up, and back there was Houston. Takes it over. Through from behind, and a free kick will be paid instead. There was no pressure on him, on Houston.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's how the rules.
We'll see it on the replay. McDonald to take the free kick. There was no pressure, but McDonald from point blank range puts it 35 rows back, and they short work of it. And they get their second, 2-1-13, the Swans. They lead Port Adelaide only 2 minor scores. The margin, 11 points at the SCG, thanks to Glencore advancing everyday life.
Gee, I've seen players back off the player with the ball, have them handball it through, and it's not given away as a free kick. But he said he wasn't within 5 metres.
They'll get dissent here if they're not careful.
He was within 2 metres.
Josh, it was almost like because he was so casual in the way he just sort of jogged over the line, that counted against him.
I like to see these pinged.
He spun.
So he comes out of a tackle. He's got to play 2 metres away from him.
No, that's not fair. I don't think that's fair.
I would like that to be a free kick, but I don't think it is in the current rules. He spins out of a tackle. He's got to play 2 metres away from him.
Yeah.
I think he's a little hard done by the way the rules are written.
Exactly, and the way that the game's usually officiated.
Judge Jenkins, I think you might be onto something there.
Swans by 11 points. 8 3/4 minutes remaining in this opening term from the restart. Houston under pressure. Handball to Butters. Across now to Rosie through the traffic, then got himself into trouble, so had to go back by hand to Houston, who spreads it wide. That's a dangerous kick because they're going backwards. They're still going backwards to defensive 50. Dersman's the handball across to Jonas. Scrubbing ball towards Bergman. He's lost out. Now Goulden for the Swans. Back inside the 50, back towards Buddy. But Aaliyah came in late with a spoil, and it's gone over for a throw-in 45 around from Sydney's goal.
Aaliyah just loves it, doesn't he?
He's enjoying it. Well, he would have played on Buddy a lot at training. He can be, if Buddy doesn't pay him the respect to the way he drops off and intercepts and sets the game up, he can be an important player for Port.
Swans in attack, 50 from home as the ball gets thrown back into play. Amadi wins the tap down cleverly. The kick from Stevens towards the top of the square. Heaney couldn't quite take the mark. First to recover though, on his left, round the body, used to be good. Oh, it's hit the post.
JJ, that's a matchup they're going to exploit too. Heaney v Williams. If you weren't about to mention it, surely that's a matchup that they want to exploit.
Yeah, that's a worry. That's why I thought Jonas would be the right guy to go to Heaney. But when you've got the 3 tall forwards, I guess Jonas is forced to play on one of the big forwards.
I'm wondering who Mackenzie's gone to then. The kick out of defence, cut off abruptly there by Logan McDonald. He's active too for 195 centimetre forward.
Safety steals stats. Florence 6, Finlayson 6, Rosie and Lycett 5 each for Port.
So, we've gone about 18 and a bit here at the SCG. Amati, he gets to the front, in front of Finlayson. The second changes. Flick out now. Wines, he tried to snap over the shoulder. Getting across now was Lloyd. And he'll go back inside 50 for the Swans. So dangerous here. Warner presented short. He's 60 from home. He just sits it up for the breeze. Franklin, a leer over the top. Good mark there taken. Great mark, in fact, by Xavier Dersma. And the big pack of players formed.
He can do a bit more of this. He's rangy. He's a good athlete. He get up and down the wing. That's what the good wingmen do. They get back and they help out, and they get forward and they hit the scoreboard.
Very short kick to find Dylan Williams. He then went to go short to find Jonas. Nearly missed it. Now Jonas goes on the 45. That's missed a target too. It's going to go out of bounds, and it's poor execution from the Port Adelaide captain. We'll have a boundary throw in 70 around from home, non-commentary side here at the SCG. And our expert, Josh Jenkins, for local expert, a job well done.
They're just a bit out of sync. It's very, very obvious to us here in the box that Port are just out of sync with the way they want to move the ball on offence.
Yeah. Amadi wins the tap down, sharked by Wines. Handball to Houston. Oh, his kick was smothered. Terrific work coming through there by Warner. Now Goulden, handball got knocked down. Falls to Warner, squeezes a kick. It's a mark to Port Adelaide. Thought it might have been a whistle for a push in the back, but Bergman gets the got the mark for Port at centre half back. Spreads it wide to Jonas, who gives the handball on to Farrell. Farrell goes down the line as they try and control the footy, Port. Coming the interchange gate side. Boak took the mark, then kicks towards the wing. It sits up for Powell Pepper. and made it easy for Rampy to come over the top and knock it out of bounds for a throw-in. Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, it is St Kilda 14, Gold Coast 15. In fact, St Kilda's just kicked another goal to take the lead back. So it's nearly quarter time at Marvel Stadium with the Saints up by 5 points. Throw back into play. Amati kicks it off the ground, drew in heavy traffic, handball to Boak, darts one way then the other. Handball was, put his team out under all sorts of pressure there, and that's holding the ball. That's going against Mead. It was a bit unlucky because he was sold a hospital pass there, and Rowbottom will take the free kick for the Swans. Defensive wing. Kicks towards half forward. Port got the numbers here. Jonas dropped the mark he probably should have taken. Ball spits out, picked up by Houston for Port. Clearing kick back towards the interchange gate wing. Dixon up, good spoil over the top by McCartan. That's Tom McCartan. And the ball will be thrown in. 5.5 minutes remaining in the first. Sydney with the only 2 goals. It's 2-2-14 to Port Adelaide. 2 behinds thanks to Elders for Australian Agriculture.
Bit of a challenge for Tom McCartan as well, isn't it? With his brother, they're so good. We've seen how close they are when they play together. Just to be able to stay focused and not be so worried about his brother, even though naturally he will be.
They're so close, their pre-game tradition is to kick to each other. They don't kick with anyone else.
Yeah, a lot of brothers are like that.
Yeah, kick to each other. It's centre half forward for Port Adelaide. Powell Pepper one way, the other through traffic. Handballs. Butters goes now up inside 50. They're outnumbered. Is Marshall. Did well back there. Was Rampy. Trying to get a kick away. He had some support. The kick was smothered. Went wild at Dursman. Now Horn Francis. Chain of handballs. Now even wider again. Try to find McEntee. Back inside now. Goes to Butters. He tried to shrug a tackle. Top footy here in the Port Adelaide forward line. Hayward, he's in there. Horn Francis tried to shrug one. He gets taken high. Hayward jumps in over the top. Umpire says, give it to me. And that was hot footy. He doesn't take a backward step, JHF. So Laddams in there too. McCartan came through, holding the footy. He's going to be paid. And that's
against Tom McCartan. It looked like it was a handball that was just knocked down by Horn Francis. The umpire that paid the free kick was behind Horn Francis, so may not have been able to see it. But it was a very fiery passage of play with plenty of tackles laid. Yeah, that's all right. That's a fair tackle. Yep. He's knocked that out in the tackle, so he gets rewarded for his efforts there, Horn Francis, who's been knocked for his defensive stuff, so this is a good start.
Jason Horn Francis, he's had the 3 touches so far. 5 goals in his career. Better than 45 degrees, closer to directly in front. He'll kick it from 48. He hit it nicely, but off to the right. That's a fade.
There you
through
go.
the behinds.
We're loving it.
Another minor score. Only 3 minor scores for Port Adelaide. Sydney 2-2-14 on the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard.
Florent plays on, then chips short to Cunningham. Will flare it wide to Rampy. So he's just outside defensive 50. 4 minutes remaining in the opening term. Sydney by 11 points. It's on the Glencore scoreboard as they now switch sides. Back out to the outer side of the ground now with McInerney at defensive 50. Very short ball and not a good ball at all to Warner. Let's Rioli coming to the contest, although shrugging the tackle there was Warner and got the handball away. McCartan now up towards half forward. Amati up, couldn't take the mark. Back at the pack, Alear is there. A whistle. It's going to Alear.
Yeah, high tackle. Geez, they look out of sync, Port. I can't believe how out of sync they look. They're lucky to be so close at this point.
They're a bit like Freo. They're trying, but they just can't get anything going.
They are having a go. They're just so out of sync.
As Miles said, it's a hot footy. It's a ream hot water footy.
Yeah, the pressure's right, but the connection isn't.
And this is another example of this. They've almost turned it back pocket. Boak, the experienced one, kicks it back into the corridor. Armadi almost pinched it for the Swans. They're still under pressure. Somehow they emerge with the footy up towards the wing. Can Butters slow things down? Inside the centre square, chipping ball towards the 50. Dixon had 2 to beat, couldn't do so. Ball at ground level is won by Rampy of the Swans. Handball into the corridor to Warner. Dinky handball over the top to Florent. Now to Goulden. Goulden back towards the 50. Port have got the numbers. Papley, good use of the body though against Alear. Then he gets tackled by Alear. Coming in over the top, Mackenzie as well, and it will be thrown up.
They're great mates, those two as well. Really, really good mates, and you saw the smile on Alear's face when he went to wrap him up. Sydney are bringing the tackle pressure also.
Yeah, they are.
About 2.5 remaining. Ball up on the junction, left half forward for the Sydney Football Club. So Boak overran it. Warner actually managed to gather. He snaps out, ball bounces 15 in front of goal. Now it's set up back there for Jonas. He's got a Marty on his heels. Jonas, well, he turned on a 2-cent piece, just chipped it up towards centre half back. A nothing kick, really. Big fly over the top came from Callum Mills. And so they'll get another inside 50 entry. He's 70 from home, Mills. Never looks as far at the SCG, though, does it? Have a look. I'd nearly make that kick. Mills sets it up to the hot spot. Amadi couldn't quite get to the fall of the ball. Sitting underneath it was Xavier Dersma. And again, another good, strong contested mark from Dersma in the defence for Port Adelaide. Goes out to right half back. Dixon, the target, sort of ran. I think McInerney underneath it. No, it's McCartan, in fact. So McCartan gets back there. A bit of a wrestle on the ground. Dixon, well, he just threw that out then. Not paid. You heard the distaste from the crowd. And sitting back behind the footy is Parker for the Swans. Short option. You heard the umpire. Play on, not 15. So they go back in again through McInerney. Another short option there. Franklin trying to frig it wider. Warner, he goes up, had a shot from 50, and Warner kicks a goal. The kid is a jet. Mildly spoken, known as a little bit of an airhead around the footy club, they tell me. But one thing he does is find the footy, and the clarity he has with it in hand. He kicked a goal. Sydney get their third, 3-2-20. They lead Port Adelaide only 3 behinds, and the margin 17 points with 1:10 remaining on the clock.
Well, Port are having a crack. We've mentioned that numerous times. They are having a go, but if they can't get some of their basic fundamentals of the game in order, the game will be gone by the time they do. Sydney are too good to make these types of mistakes. Warner's really working himself into the game. 16 inside 50s to 7 in favour of the Swans for safety steel sheds, and it's felt like that over the past 10 or so minutes. Sydney have been completely dominant. They're the ones hitting targets. Port Adelaide are giving away free kicks and just putting the ball on the ground in basic ways. They've just got to get themselves sorted.
AFL Nation for Tyre Power #1 this season.
Back in the middle, Rosie gets a handball back to Lysett through the traffic, scrubs a ball towards centre half forward. Over the top was Butters, handballed it straight to Florida of the Swans. Back into midfield now, Rowbottom is going, well, it's going to be a free kick, not to Rowbottom, but it'll go to Laddams, who got the handball to Rowbottom and was taken high as he disposed of the football.
Max here. Time back on stand, play on.
Laddams just wants to handball it, make it someone else's problem. Florent now from the centre circles, out towards half forward. Papley couldn't take the mark. Vaughan Francis, so strong, somehow got a handball away under enormous amount of pressure. Williams to the Port Adelaide side gets a handball out. He can't find the target in Farrell. The ball gets knocked out of play for a throw-in.
He's having a go, Williams, JJ. And for his second game, he's having a go, but geez, against a pretty handy side.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room for error.
No.
For young players when they're playing against teams like Sydney. They just do not give you an inch.
So professional the way they go about it from the throw-in. Again, Port can get towards the wing, but this is where they've been sort of let down. It's a scrubbing kick again. Fox mops up for the Swans. Handball to Tom McCartan. Now to Cunningham, close to the boundary. In fact, he was over. So they'll be thrown in with about 30 seconds remaining in this opening term. It's the Swans 20, leading Port Adelaide 3. That is on the Glencore scoreboard.
Ball getting thrown back in for McDelivery has arrived on the MyMaccas app. So, commentary side at the interchange. It's a little hush from the crowd, and they give him the hoy as the umpire lets it go. Lysett v Laddams. Laddams took it out of the ruck. Was there time here? 20 seconds remaining. Sitting back under the footy, though, was Trent McKenzie to cannon himself back in the side for Port Adelaide, and sort of normally defends probably over his size. It's going to come back out towards commentary side. He pulled the kick short to only find Kane Farrell, normally an elite user. He goes longer to find Lysett at half forward. They've taken the sting out as the siren sounds. 3-2-20, the Sydney Football Club. They lead Port Adelaide only 3 behind, so margin 17 points here at the SCG. This is AFL Nation. Miles Fitzner, Adam White, Josh Jenkins. We'll be back right after this.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power, your matchday favourites for tyre safety.
40 crispy chicken McNuggets are for friends. Together with tangy Cajun sauce, close friends only. Pick up juicy chicken and tangy Cajun at Macca's drive-thru today. Select items available for a limited time.
Install Installery.
Well, the hottest of hot fun you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on. Installery.
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 Installery. Installery.
Ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
For our great game, Aussie Rules, since 1912, the AFL Record has been its most iconic publication. The cries of "Record, get your record!" are etched into our game day ritual. We buy one on the way into the match, mark down the goal kickers, then some of us tuck it away as a keepsake. You can be part of this AFL match day experience. Job opportunities are available as an AFL Record seller as well as sales supervisors. Go to aflrecord.com.au and click on careers to express your interest right now.
More and more Australian families are getting the power with Tyre Power. And you can too during their store-wide super sale now on. Tyre Power continues to be a champion for road safety. Next road trip, make Tyre Power your first stop and find out why Tyre Power is Australia's best. During the store-wide super sale, get the equivalent of 25% off when you buy 3, get 1 free on selected Kumho passenger and SUV tyres. Each Tyre Power is 100% independent and locally owned. Find your Aussie local at tyrepower.com.au.
Tired of overpaying for your mobile plan? Make the switch to Mate and experience unbeatable value. For a limited time, enjoy $1 per month for the first 3 months of your mobile plan. That's pocket change, mate. Each plan includes unlimited talk and text to standard Aussie numbers, plus a 500GB data bank. You can even keep your own mobile number. Visit letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online to sign up and start saving today.
This new footy season, we all start on a level playing field. 100% ready to go. Or are we? Have you done your Signet Powerbank pre-season? Your tickets, your food, your drinks, your wallet, your Mikey. It's all linked to your phone. Through the turnstiles, at the bar, in the food line, take it to the Signet Powerbank. There's a new game day ritual this season. Keys, phone, Signet. Power every moment with a Signet Powerbank. Available at major retailers and signet.com.
I'm going to go to the toilet and grab some more beers. Pause it for me? No way, mate. We're not pausing live sport. If he kicks this, we're in front. Nah, it'll be all right. Oh, what? Oh, no. Did I miss it? Come on, mate. You've got to rewind it, please.
Oh, not a chance, mate. You can catch it on the highlights reel. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
Explore Carragini National Park on this new fun Go West tour. With experienced guides, you'll discover the ancient gorges and spectacular scenery. Travel on 4x4 buses into the 4 corners of the national park and leave your troubles behind at camp. If you're flying into the Pilbara, you can book airport transport services to Carragini as well. We have you covered with safe, fun and memorable experiences in the Carragini National Park with Go West Tours. Visit gowesttours.com.au.
Order the McValue bundle at Macca's today. A choice of your favourite burgers, together with fries and drinks for just $26.95. Did we just find something the whole family can agree on? Available between 10:30am and midnight at participating restaurants. See our website for details.
It's coming round like a shockwave. You've played the game one too many times.
You're listening to Nation for Hyundai. Google Peter Page Hyundai and for Panasonic Air Conditioning. Macca's, I'm loving it moments. McDelivery has arrived on the My Macca's app.
From the Clive Churchill pocket at the Paddington end, the right side for the left footer. Laddens just a little off wedge at it, straight through. Sydney get their first, the margin 5 points. But McDonald for point blank range puts it 35 rows back and make short work of it. You heard the umpire, play on not 15. So they go back in again through McInerney. Another short option there. Franklin trying to frigate wider. Warner, he goes up, had a shot from 50, and Warner kicks a goal. The kid is a jet. Well, welcome back to AFL Nation live from the SCG. Miles Fitzner, Adam White, Josh Jenkins with you. And all thanks to I'm Loving It Moments from Macca's. McDelivery has arrived on the My Macca's app. The McDelivery of the ball for Macca's. McDelivery is on the app. Just go and get some. Josh Jenkins, some stats for safety steel sheds from the first quarter, please.
Yeah, plenty of Swans players got involved in the game. Ollie Florent was good with 10 disposals, especially considering he had to go off with a little rib injury, a little soreness. Lloyd had 8. That's what he does every week. Chad Warner started on the bench, ended up having 6 and a goal. For Port, plenty of meaningless stats because they kept kicking the footy along the ground. Butters had 9, Rosé 8, Dersma 7. I liked his quarter. And Dylan Williams, he's having a crack. He's had half a dozen.
Talk about someone running hot, thanks to Ream, steady, hot and strong. Ollie Florent's 10 disposals, the way he's just coming off the back of the square, providing plenty of drive. It's not up to just Lloyd and Blakey. They've got another one that's playing that role really well tonight, Josh.
They've got a like, what feels like a critical mass of players, young players. When they all play average or better, they win. But because they're young players, they can all tend to struggle at the same time. But he's one of many.
Just repeating down the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready. Paddy McCartan subbed out of the game with concussion after 5 minutes. The earliest to sub has been subbed out in 2023. This is AFL Nation for Elders for Australian Agriculture.
The second quarter is underway with Lysette getting the first kick inside 50 for Port Adelaide. It's the loose ball. Dixon picked it up, handball to Dersma, who fell over. In support, Wines got a handball out to Rosé. Now to Horn Francis, who's set upon by 2 Swans players. Wines goes in even harder, wins the ball, handball inside the 50. Laddams dives on the ball. He's got to be careful here. The umpire has a look. He's still looking. He's hovering, and he's going to throw it up. Around the grounds, thanks to Chemist Warehouse at Marvel Stadium, Gold Coast leads St Kilda by 2 points at quarter time. As the ball gets thrown up, Laddams reaches over the top, wins it down. There's so many players around this contest. Dixon with a big tackle, and we'll get it thrown up again. 40 metres out from Port's goal.
Just a mark of the day contender for Flight Centre. Have to be Dersma early, back in defence.
Yep.
Laddams wins the tap down. Campbell goes through for the Swans, through traffic, got a handball and got pushed as he got the handball away. So he'll take the free kick for the Swans at right half back.
It's been handy for them, Campbell, the academy player. All his football at Sydney. See Hinkley and Longmire down on the bench too for Spitwater, tough and ready. So Campbell, right back pocket. They're kicking to the left of your radio dial for you at home. Sydney with the chain of handballs, just trying to steer out of trouble. Florent snapped over his shoulder. Jonas with a big fly and a big punch over the top. So they're still sort of messing around with the ball at centre wing on commentary side. Rowbottom, he tried to soccer off the ground. It only went as far as Will Hayward. He turned on a dime, wheeled back to the hot spot. Aliir v Franklin. Franklin went to ground and Aliir kept his feet, takes a mark and looks to clear out through Kane Farrell, normally a great user. It's Port Adelaide at right half back, trying to come out through Bergman.
Bergman will go long to the interchange gate wing. McCartan up, couldn't take the mark, has support though. Blakey, little left foot kick to Mills. He could go back to Blakey or go longer instead. Nice. He goes longer and he finds Franklin at the 50. So he had plenty of options. He's in fact drowned with options really when he looked up. And when you see Buddy charging at you, you've just got to kick it to him, Josh.
He's just very, very good at every aspect of the game, Callum Mills. Very, very good.
So he's got 4 from his 2 games he's played this year, Lance Franklin. This is his first meaningful attempt at goal. He'll have to kick it from about 52 metres. He's left of centre. This is the side he likes to kick it. He likes to slide them in. Oh, he's going to centre it up. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure even who the option was. It fell to McInerney in the end, who gave the handball to Hayward, who's on the snap, goes at goal and just misses. Well, it was just set up for Franklin from there.
I think maybe a sign of the times. Buddy doesn't think he can... It's probably got to travel 57, 58 from there to clear the line. So maybe Buddy doesn't think he's got that in him anymore.
21-3, Sydney lead.
On the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard. They come out. Again, big pack form in underneath at Rowbottom. He tried to get hands on the football. It's still hot in underneath Dersma. Tried to get a clearing kick away. Rioli's going to be first to it. He shrugged one, stepped inside, ignored the option. Go up deep, forward inside. Dixon was the target, bouncing through over his head and through for another minor score. So they're 4 behinds. No goals yet to register as Power Pepper behind play just starts to limp a fraction. We'll keep an eye on him. So Blakey, right back pocket. Went to go inboard and the skills Nothing really to write home about here at the moment. Florent off the ground into the centre of the ground, finds Amati. Next to Franklin, he ignored him. They now go up inside 50. Papley managed to get 2 or 3 metres on his opponent, and he takes a mark on bang on a 45-degree angle, about 28 or 30 out from home. He'll kick from 35, and he didn't hit the first one very well, Josh Jenkins, but this one is his bread and butter.
Yeah, any sweet spot. I reckon he'd prefer to be on the run, but he's a very good shot for goal. And Buddy's not happy with Scott Lysette, who put him down, but wasn't a lot in. I just don't think Buddy was ready for contact.
Only the 2 behinds last time these 2 teams met for Tom Papley. Goes back, hits that one beautifully. And the pocket rocket from Gippsland. Well, he can tip winners and kick goals, can Tom Papley. He goes through. The Swans get their 4th. 4-3-27. They lead Port Adelaide only 4 behinds. And well, the margin continues to grow only at a slow rate.
It does, but it continues to grow. And when you're 5 minutes, 6 minutes into a second term and you haven't kicked a goal as a team, frustration begins to build. And he's a very good player, Tom Papley. He's got a very good record. He's kicked 229 goals from his 144 games. He's just building a very, very good career. You can see on the replay there for car sales, everything you want to know. Just identified the moment a teammate was going to win the footy, and he was off back to goal, and that's all it took.
Just apologies here. My cough button didn't work as I was rolling through. So 4-3-27. Sydney lead Port Adelaide only 4 behinds on the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard.
Perfect bounce back in the middle. And it's Warner sharking the ball. Kick was, was a bit mistimed, we'll call it that. But fortunately went to Parker, who handballs to McInerney, who spins around.
Nice.
Gets past one tackle and then kicks long inside the 50 towards the pocket. No mark taken. Papley sharks it, fires at goal and hits the behind post on the full. So we're seeing McDonald sort of leap into contest, Josh, but he just can't get his hands on his footy, but he looks dangerous.
That's his minimum standard for him, isn't it? To be able to jump up and bring the footy to ground and bring Papley and Heaney and those types into the game. I like what he's done, McDonald.
Bergman gets the free kick, kicks up to Dixon, who just takes it off the top of the contest. He was about third in line and took the mark. 15 minutes remaining in the second term. It's Sydney leading 27-4 on the Glencore scoreboard. The kick is well marked there by Parker. Going back with a flight, gives the handball, running past. Here's McCartan. And he goes in short. Sydney still with the footy. Goulden on the logo. Chips it short. Dangerous kick to a contest. Fox couldn't take the mark. Goulden came back and got it again. Kicks inside 50 and deep. But it's a good mark taken by Farrell for Port Adelaide.
So Farrell, left back pocket. Setups are looking okay for both sides here ahead of the football and electing to go man on man. There's one man in the hole and he's actually kicked it directly towards him. Sitting underneath it was Parker. He couldn't mark. Getting back in Marshall, he might have been taken high here, and he was.
Oh, now it's another McCartan down.
There's another McCartan down behind the ball here. He might have caught one high as well. And we'll just see here, it's actually McInerney. Oh, he's hit the hip. No, it is McCartan.
No,
Tommy McCartan.
Yeah.
She's got exactly the same haircut, those two, don't
they?
they?
Look similar, McCartan and McInerney.
McInerney used to roll the longer sort of 80s style mullet. So they go up the wing, left half forward. Umpire says, give it to me again. Powell Pepper getting some work down on the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready. So Tommy McCartan sort of jogging back. He looks okay. Laddams did the ruck work. Houston cutting through traffic was dispossessed. Warner, he was clean. Laddams, now a chain. Coming across now, Heaney. He tried to get a disposal away. Dersma, he was there as well, and Rowbottom came across, took it over the boundary line. Umpire said, we'll throw it in. Non-commentary side, about 70 around from home, around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Gold Coast 24, leads St Kilda 21, and this is AFL Nation for Tyre Power number 1 this season. Miles Fitzner, Josh Jenkins and Adam White.
Ball gets thrown in. And again, it'll be a Port Adelaide ball. Lysette wins it, handballs to Houston, kicks up towards half forward. No mark taken at ground level. Rampy trying to wrench it clear. He does pretty well in the end. His kick was... We didn't look where he was kicking it, but he found Heaney, whose handball was a little bit dicey, but they've got numbers. Now Lloyd through the middle, kicks to an open forward line. Up goes Papley.
Oh, he's on. He's on, the little man.
It's a good mark against McKenzie, who's the taller player, to mark so strongly in front.
It was a superb kick from Lloyd. Just kicked it off the instep, was able to kick it to the advantage side, and we can see it here on the replay. Sell your car the hassle-free way with Car Sales Instant Offer. Just a beautiful kick. Identified the space. He actually took Papley to the footy, but Papley's so crafty and smart. He knows where the ball's going.
He's going for his second. And Sydney's fifth. Just inside the 50. No, he's hooked it. Straight off the boot, it was going left. And another minor score. So Sydney lead 4-4-28 to Port Adelaide, 4 behinds. We've still got 13 minutes remaining in the second term. The Swans are dominating, but they can't quite put Port Adelaide away.
24 points the margin. Port Adelaide, Houston. To come out to find Trent McKenzie. Still called the cannon. Can roosted a long way. Shorter option, not 15 paid. Oh, no, they're in trouble already. Heaney wraps him up. Williams, it wasn't 15. It wasn't far enough. Holding the ball paid. They're in disarray here, Port Adelaide. They're under pressure in defence. Heaney goes back now. And Williams, well, his second game back against the team he debuted. He just didn't hear the call. It's not his fault.
No, he's probably a bit stiff to get done for holding the ball. I guess it's almost a team prior opportunity.
That's right.
But, geez, they look out of sync, Port Adelaide. I know I've said it 4 or 5 times already, but you've got to call what you see, and they are nowhere.
Heaney, only the 3 goals this year. He's kicked 200 in his career, and he's pushed that one right across the face onto the right-hand side of goals and through for a minor, 4-5-29. The Swans lead by 25 points. We've gone 12 and a bit minutes here in the second quarter at the SCG, thanks to Glencore Advancing Everyday Life and Elders for Australian Agriculture.
Bergman marks the kick in, then goes long towards the wing. He wants Dixon, and he's taken the mark. Handballs onto Drew, caught on his left foot, kicks towards centre half forward, and a mark has been taken by Mead. A juggling attempt just on the 50.
Just on Mead, Whitey. He's the player that Sydney bid for in the draft. So they did bid for him, and Port Adelaide got him picked 25 in 2019 via the father-son.
So Mead, it's going to be a tough kick because he will have to kick from outside the 50. Kick on its way. It's pretty good. Has it got the distance? It has. Or has it? The goal umpire isn't sure. I've got to say, the Sydney defenders gave up on it. I think they think it's a goal.
Score review. Umpire's call is touched behind.
Oh, umpire's call is touched. So let's have a look. And if Robbie Fox didn't get a hand on that, which he didn't, that's a goal.
That looks a goal.
As I said, the Sydney defenders gave up on it. They felt they hadn't touched it. And their heads were down, and they thought they'd given up the first Port Adelaide goal of the night.
Well, I think even if he has touched it, it's over the line.
Yes.
It looks a goal.
So Robbie Fox was the one that was closest to the ball. And they're spending an awful long time looking at it because I guess they've got to be sure to overturn it, Josh.
Yeah, well, they do. That's why the umpire's call is so important, isn't it? Because we've got to be absolutely definitive to overturn it. This is taking a long time, and we're seeing a lot of the vision from behind the goals. That doesn't help us one bit.
No, it doesn't.
Not one bit. Why are we seeing this angle?
This is taking a long time.
Must be some tech errors.
We're still looking for more information.
That is a goal.
But from that angle of the camera in the post, it does look like there's a gap between the fist and the ball.
But now they have to have evidence to overturn the soft signal.
That's why they're taking it a bit longer, I think.
Which I'm saying. I don't think a Sydney player's touched it. It's gone above his fist.
You'd be brave to call that a behind.
Jump in the square, Ollie.
Well, we've got a decision, and it is a umpire's call.
Wow.
Oh, you're joking me.
When it's not going your way,
I reckon
it's not going your way.
Tech issues there. We saw the wrong angle for too long. Wow.
There's some controversy. Well, it's on the car sales replay, it was fine, but on whatever replay they're using, it's not. Shout out to car sales.
Wow.
So, got a ball up. And Marty, he got a tap nice and clean down. He gets wrapped up. The ball goes straight over the boundary line from row bottom. We'll have a boundary throw in. And we are at right half forward for the Swans. Crowd getting involved with the boundary umpire as they throw that in. Finlayson and Amati try to tap down to Goulden. He wrapped up. I think it was Ollie Wines. Drew jumps in there as well. Horn Francis, Warner. He gets the clearance. Flick to Stevens. Now out wider to Mills. So on his boot, up towards centre half forward. Getting back there was Williams. He did well. Left foot at centre half back now for Port Adelaide. And I just looked to settle. No one really leading at the football, so to speak. So Dersma, what does he do? He has just brought rain with that, kicked it out towards the non-commentary side. Marshall sat under it off the bounce. Ball gets flicked over the top now. Butters had support and runners in Wines. Chain of handballs again. Mead now goes inside of Sam Powell-Pepper. Outside of the boot. Don't tell me no. Across the face of goal. Out of bounds on the full. Sydney looked to bring it back in. Still 4-5-29. The Swans, they lead Port Adelaide. Only 5 behinds. And 24 points be your margin. Port Adelaide yet to score a goal here in the first half at the SCG.
But they are deep in attack here. In their right forward pocket as the ball's thrown in right next to the behind post. Dixon and Amati. Amati wins it down. Powell-Pepper sharks it. Handballs to the top of the square. Stevens was tackled for the Swans. Fox goes in. He's also tackled. It's a hot footy. A high kick at goal by Powell-Pepper. It's not 15, but it might not matter.
It's a goal.
It wasn't 15 out, but it's a goal.
Oh, not again.
The goal umpire has lost all confidence.
Oh, here he goes.
But that is a goal.
Oh,
and a
no.
wonderful goal from Powell-Pepper.
Oh, no.
There were about 15 players around him. The goal umpire thinks it's a goal, but wants to check it hasn't been either touched or whether it's hit the post. It definitely hasn't hit the post, and it definitely wasn't touched.
Wasn't touched. Are we sure it didn't graze the upright, as they call them?
In this day and age, why they don't have the cameras can get better angles than that is
shocking angles.
Like, how can you tell?
They are shocking angles.
Well, the goal umpire's a bit nervous here.
Oh, look at it there.
No, I think...
on the right-hand side.
So what happened was Powell-Pepper is in all sorts of traffic. You just put it on the boot. It's gone really high. It's a wonky kick. So it's moving in all sorts of different directions.
Yeah, it's floating, which
can give it almost an optical illusion as to whether it has or hasn't hit the post. If they've got snickometer or whatever it is, Snicko...
That which they do.
Then that will give you the answer.
Well, they're not using it.
There are tech issues here with
there must
the art.
be.
I'm telling you, there has to be. There's no reason why we keep seeing these two angles. They can't help us.
This quarter will go 50 minutes if we're not careful.
The only
they're still
thing
looking.
that can help us is Snicko.
Yes, exactly.
So put it on the screen.
Well, it's up over the post there, right? So look at it come down, still clear. You've got to match the two angles.
All the Port Adelaide players are watching the ball in flight, and they're all cheering instantaneously, so they don't think it's hit the post.
It's umpire's call. It'll be umpire's call
We've
again.
got an answer. It's a goal. So Port Adelaide have finally got their first goal of the night, courtesy of Sam Powell-Pepper, and it's taken halfway through the second term to register.
Too late. The kids are in bed. They didn't even get to see it.
The Easter Bunny had already delivered the Easter eggs before we got an answer there.
The basket was in. It was gone already.
4-5-29 Sydney. Port Adelaide 1-5-11. 9 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the second term. So it's an 18-point lead to Sydney. That is the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard.
Well called by you, Adam White. Thanks to Tyre Power #1 this season. Josh Jenkins, our expert for Expert, a job well done, and all the stats thanks to Safety. Steel Sheds is still showing this replay.
I don't think we'll ever get... If there are issues behind the scenes, we probably won't get the full story, but it feels like...
Probably. We're definitely not getting the full story.
Well, they can't get what they need.
Amati, Finlayson, tapped down, only went as far as Mills. Horn Francis wrapped him up with the socks pulled up, as always, and yapping, as always. He gets a clearance this time through traffic, did well. Handball wider. Trying to find Bergman. Now Drew in support on his left boot. They go up into their left forward pocket, sitting underneath it. There was Mead. He tried to get a handball out. They had runners in support, wrapped up. Dixon tried to do the 360. Boak in there with him as well. One way, the other. Shrugged. Went back with a handball inside 50. Rioli shot on goal and misses. Through for a minor score. Probably their best passage so far. Going forward anyway. So 1-6-12. They trail the Swans 4-5-29 on the Glencore Advancing Everyday Life scoreboard, and this is AFL Nation for Elders Agriculture.
Blakey runs out of the goal square, takes the bounce, takes a second bounce, draws an opponent, then handballs to Campbell at defensive 50, who chips it short down the line to Dylan Stevens. Sydney just trying to own the ball for the time being, with Port Adelaide just making a bit of a push at the moment.
Good crowd.
He's been told to play on. He angles the ball towards the wing. Jonas with a spoil over the top. Rosé on hands and knees gets a handball back to Jonas, who handballs over his head. 20 metres Port Adelaide's way. Laddams did well to pick up the loose ball. Handball got knocked down and the ball goes out of play, and Rosé ends up in the Sydney bench, sitting next to Buddy. He gives Buddy a little bit of a tap on the quad and gets back into the field of play.
Sat on his lap and asked him what he wanted for Christmas.
That's right. It's a little bit like that.
Can I ask a question? Why are the Swans wearing their striped socks?
Why are they?
Yes.
That's a good question, actually.
Usually wear the red, all red.
Horn Francis gets the clearance, kicks inside the 50 towards Dixon. Oh, Rampy fell over, lets Dixon back in close to the line. It's out of bounds or a throw? It's a throw. In trying to keep it in, he actually threw it back into the field of play.
Rampy looks square to find Lloyd. He's in defensive goal square. Across the face of goal, dangerous kick. And Blakey's been held by Rioli. So right back pocket for the Swans. Non-commentary side, or the Victor Trumper stand for those that know the SCG. Had the short option in Fox. Warner now. Tucked it under his arm at centre-half back. Ran his full journey. Had one bounce, two. Through the centre of the ground. Shades of Paul Kelly. Looks further forward. Went one way, big spin came from Luke Parker, tried to get it on his right boot. Now fell to Heaney, little left foot dinky kick around the corner. Diving mark attempt, couldn't gather a leer back there for Port Adelaide. And Farrell looked to clear for Port through their left half back line.
Finlayson takes the mark. Little squeezy ball on the wing. It's going to be okay to Houston, who took it on the bounce, but his handball wasn't great. Although we get a free kick because he was tackled too long after he disposed of the ball, and the free kick will go to Wines on the logo out of sight of the SCG. Now he's been told to play on. He's tackled, loses it. Warner gets tackled for the Swans, kicks a kick forward, almost to half forward, but again it'll be broken down there. Jonas kicks to midfield to Finlayson, and 50. Gee, that was a quick call for being too close or in that sort of protected zone.
I guess you can't answer from behind the player.
But wasn't he the player that was trying to spoil the mark?
Well, he was, but I guess they're saying...
Oh, no, he's come from behind.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
When you try and enter from behind the player, if he tries to kick that footy...
He's got to run a wider arc, doesn't he, Josh, to come back in?
Yeah, no, that's a good call from the umpire. Good call.
We've got Josh Jenkins with us, the local expert. A job well done tonight for us on AFL Nation. As Jeremy Finlayson from straight in front, 20 out, shouldn't make any problem at all with that, and doesn't. And Port have got two in a row and have got back within 11 points 7 minutes before half-time.
Just on that, Josh Jenkins for expert, of course, a job well done. Sydney have completely outplayed them and dominated, and the margin does not reflect that at all.
No, it doesn't. I'm just watching. This is interesting, isn't it? We're highlighting everything Jason Horne-Francis does, and it's a spirited discussion, and it was a two-way discussion with Ken Hinkley. It quickly became a one-way discussion where, Jason, you listen and I'll talk. But to answer your question, Miles, Sydney missed a couple of opportunities, but it's strange to say that because Port have kicked 2-6 themselves. So Port have just been able to find a way just to play a little bit more direct, a little less of the sideways stuff and a little more direct.
Sorry, Josh. I'm frustrated that for Warner because Finlayson took a step forward to play on and Warner went to tackle.
Fair to say we've seen some weird things here tonight.
Yeah.
We have.
Back in the centre of the ground. Lysett v. Laddams. Flick out from Butters. Look two-handed. Houston. Boak. See, well, they're advancing forward again here, Port Adelaide. Go up to danger territory. Finlayson overran it. Horne-Francis there as well. Getting back was Robbie Fox. And Florent came in. He's still running hot for Ream. Steady, hot and strong. Ask your plumber to install a Ream. Steady, hot and strong. We'll have a throw in. And it'll be 15 metres around from the Port Adelaide goal in their left forward pocket. Just a weird sort of a game so far. Laddams gets front position, the clearance, couldn't get away from Parker. Flicked out, now Rioli, he tried to gather, overran it, stepped one way, the other. Turning inside was McEntee. Sydney, they've overrun it again. Horn Francis, he bullocked in, he wrapped up, locked his legs and said, tackle me. Umpire said, give it to me. We'll have a throw up 15 metres out directly in front.
So Port searching for 3 in a row here to get right back into the contest. Dixon tapped it down. Quick kick out of the pack. Floating home. Butters. They're scrounging their way back into this game, Port Adelaide, and now trailed by just 5 points. Port Adelaide 3-6-24, trailing Sydney 4-5-29. 6 minutes remaining before half-time. Doesn't matter how you get them, Josh Jenkins. You've just got to get them.
That's right, and they've been able to get 3 in quick succession. A couple were more than difficult for them to, for the umpires and the ARC to adjudicate, but the Power have been really good this year. Scores per inside 50. When they get it in there, they score. Unfortunately, early in the game, they were scoring behinds because, again, tonight, their numbers for scores per inside 50s are really good. They're 10% above the league average. It's just been the last 3 times they've gone in, they've been able to kick a goal rather than a behind. And they're back in this game. They are at different stages. They've looked terrible, but right now, they are running hot for Ream. Ready, hot and strong.
And it stemmed from the centre clearance where they're 3rd in the league for centre clearances as they get another one. So Lycett, well, he sort of overran it. Warner now goes up towards centre half forward for the Swans. Haven't been here for a while. Amati threw from the back. He sort of laid out Alia. So Houston for Port Adelaide. Kicks out to centre wing on commentary side. Thrown out of the road. Cunningham disposed of Power Pepper. He got back to his feet, took it over the boundary. We'll have a throw in with 6 minutes remaining in the first half here at the SCG. 4-5-29, the Swans lead Port Adelaide 3-6-24, thanks to Elders for Australian Agriculture and Glencore, advancing everyday life.
He's really working the players over down there on the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready. He's Ken Hinkley.
Rosie wrapped up from the throw-in. Umpire said, I'll have it again.
He's just really, he's emotional, he's invested. I think he's showing his players, hey, I don't care how we've been going. I am up for the fight. Let's go.
Laddams and Lycett, they just dead set cuddled each other. I don't know how you get a free kick out of that. They were holding each other. It was an embrace, some would call it. So Laddams. Don't know why the ball keeps getting kicked high like this tonight. Haven't seen anything like it. Alia flew. They're at half forward. The Swans soccering through underneath. Came from Parker. Goes out towards the boundary line. First to get there is Jonas, and he said, I'll take it over. Heating on top of him. We'll have a throw in. 5 minutes remaining. First half here at the SCG. 29 plays 24.
Around the grounds, thanks to Chemist Warehouse, and Kilda have jumped to a 17-point lead against Gold Coast 3 minutes before half-time.
Jack Higgins has got 3. He's on fire, and he's talking a bit of talk too, the little man.
A little bit of swag on him.
Good on him.
From the throw-in, Boat gets the clearing kick. It might go out on the full, though it will. He was under pressure, but Sydney through Stevens will have the free kick about 75 from home, right half forward. 5 minutes remaining before half-time. Sydney by 5 points. Stevens gets inside the field of play, then kicks it deep inside the 50. Franklin got hands to it. Amati probably spoiled it more than anyone else. And the ball has been taken out of bounds, and it's been, according to the umpire, deliberate.
They're just injecting himself in the game
against
here.
Farrell, and it will be Papley to take the free kick in the right forward pocket. So he'll have to kick on his non-preferred foot, which is his left. He'll try and hook it in from 2 steps. He does hook it, but doesn't hook it enough. And Alia takes the mark right on the behind line for Port Adelaide.
So Alia has options short, doesn't want to use them. The switch sort of comes on. He goes to the non-commentary side looking for Lycett. In support, Boak. They've got runners, Butters. Back to Boak. Goes wider again to find McEntee. On his left, up inside 50 they go. Best transition of the day. Dixon was the target. Right on his heels was Rampy. Power Pepper in support. Sidestep, goose step, one way the other, outside of the boot. Or he went as far as Florent. He's gone one way and the other. A lot of dodging and ducking going on. Cross goal. Warner's the only one at home. So Dersma trying to track Warner. He tried to shrug one. Gave to Blakey. He couldn't keep his feet and fumbled over the boundary line. Finlayson appeals. But there is absolutely no way you can pay that. deliberate. Umpire says, give it to me. So we're commentary side boundary throw-in. 4-5-29, the Swans lead Port Adelaide 3-6-24 for AFL Nation. Tie power number 1 this season.
Geez, the old arms out looking for a free kick. Looks like dissent, doesn't it? It's hard to tell the difference.
Was last week.
Wines gets the handball to Rosie. He's been quiet in this second turn. The kick inside. 50. Oh, Horn Francis. Strong mark in front. 30 from home. Thanks to Flight Centre. That's the best mark we've seen all night. Gee, that was strong.
It was explosive. Just picked up the drop zone and just jumped up and grabbed it out of the sky. And I tell you what, it's a little bit of his way or the highway at the moment. But I tell you what, when his way is going well, it's going well. He's a talent.
This to put Port Adelaide in front.
Who would have thought?
In the shadows of half-time, from 40, leans back on it, never in doubt. Never in doubt. Port Adelaide by a point, 4-6-30 to Sydney, 4-5-29. Port Adelaide with the last 4 goals of the game. Wow.
It is a surprise. It is absolutely a surprise based on what we saw in the first quarter and the first 5 to 7 minutes of the second quarter. Who would have seen this coming? But Port they've just been able to take some territory, get rid of some of the short kicking and unforced errors they were making in the first quarter. Even that ball there, just get it forward, give these guys a chance. Horn Francis playing basically as a pseudo full forward there, too good and too athletic for his direct opponent. Jumped up, took a nice mark, and kicked a goal. And I tell you what, they've got a talent on their hands. They're going to have to harness it, but they've got a talent.
For Elders, for Australian Agriculture and Tyre Power number 1 this season, another centre clearance to favour Port Adelaide. They go forward once more. Big fist coming across. Florent, he got dealt heavily after the handball. And Stevens was taken high. He'll get the free kick. Dylan Stevens.
He did look for that free kick.
Yeah, the knees dropped.
Bit lucky.
Quicker than the bank balance on the horses today at Randwick. Unless you're with due by honour, of course. Not many were. Stevens.
What were you on, Miles?
You take your pick.
Hi, Sydney.
So Franklin, he let out. Lost my train of thought there, Whitey. Thank you very much.
Lost focus.
Franklin, commentary side. Looks up to left half forward. Presenting there was McDonald. Pushing the back coming the way of McKenzie. So McDonald 70 from home, and every time Sydney have looked to go forward here, Josh Jenkins, they've sort of bombed or chipped the ball up to a big pack of players. So hoping to see McDonald lower the eyes here.
Yeah, let's see what he can conjure up.
And kicks it straight up in the air to a big pack of players. Right on cue, big fly over the top. Came from Dersma, Alia back there, Heaney. Rushing through was Papley. Franklin in underneath. Umpire said, give it to me. Ball up 15 from home. Slide angle.
Where are we?
4-6-30. Port Adelaide lead by 1 point. Lysett against McDonald. Lysett got the better of it. Found Farrell. Now it ended up in McDonald's hands. Hot footy in underneath. No clean possession. Wines. Tunnel balled it out to space. Papley will be first to get there. Went one way. Turned him inside out. Handball to Franklin. He tried to fend off Boat. Got wrapped up from behind. And that's just holding the footy.
Yep.
Very, very quick on the whistle, though.
It was, but he went to fend off, excuse me, and whenever you do that, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, you lose your prior opportunity when that happens. As Port go from one back pocket to the other. A drop mark. It'll be okay. Dersma, quick to recover his own mess. Then kicks long towards the outer wing. No mark can be taken. Sydney at ground level. Fox gets the handball out. Florent gives a handball across to Blakey. Now back to Florent. Florent, little careful kick to centre half back, and Campbell's taken the mark and gets 50.
Yeah.
Now Blake Campbell's got a big leg on him, so this will be a shot at goal because he's marched from centre half back to centre half forward.
And these 50s aren't 50s. I can promise you that. They're about 47.
All right. Well, Blake Campbell can easily kick a drop punt 55, 60 metres. Maybe a bit different when it's a set shot situation, but he's going to have a go. Opens it up, goes along and hooks it badly. He kicked it like a defender. Up in the pack was McDonald. He couldn't take the mark, and it's gone out of bounds for a throw-in deep in the right forward pocket.
So the boundary throw-in. gone man on man. Couple of Port players behind play. Lycett gets to the front. Ladhams has to make ground for the throw-in. It went over their heads in the end. Free kick going to be paid here for holding on Parker. He's going to get a shot. Seem a tad whistle happy tonight from my end. I'm not sure how you're seeing it, Josh Jenkins, but Parker will go back.
It's felt like a few clumsy ones. Parker for safety still sheds. He's about to have his 10th disposal, looking for his first goal. A couple of the major ball winners for safety still sheds. Ollie Florence had 15 and Warner's had 14 for Port Adelaide. Butters 15.
Parker has his building ticket, flips properties with his partner.
Does he?
In his spare time, just sold a duplex for telephone numbers, goes in, hits it nicely. Umpire moves a long way to the left though, through for a minor score. Right on the halftime siren. So 4-6-30, it's all tied up here at the SCG. At half-time, the Swans and Port Adelaide, nothing between them. This is AFL Nation, Miles Fitzner, Adam White and Josh Jenkins, 149 gamer. We'll be back right after this for the halftime show, and this is all thanks to Elders for Australian Agriculture and Tyre Power, #1 this season.
Another contender for goal of the game for Host Plus. Host Plus has been named Super Rating Super Fund of the Year for 2023. That's a plus. Issued by Host Plus Proprietary Limited. Check the PDS and TMD at hostplus.com.au.
Short option. You heard the umpire, play on not 15. So they go back in again through McInerney. Another short option there. Franklin trying to flick it wider. Warner, he goes up, had a shot from 50, and Warner kicks a goal. The kid is a jet.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power. Your match day favourites for tyre safety.
40 crispy chicken McNuggets are for friends. Together with tangy Cajun sauce, close friends only. Pick up juicy chicken and tangy Cajun at Macca's drive-thru today. Select items available for a limited time.
It's never been more important to buy Australian than right now. Our local manufacturers and growers produce world-class products known for their quality, safety and reliability, all while generating local jobs, supporting our communities and helping Australian families now and into the future. So look for the trusted green and gold kangaroo logo. Buy Australian now. Visit australianmade.com.au.
I'm going to go to the toilet and grab some more beers. Pause it for me? No way, mate. We're not pausing live sport. If he kicks this, we're in front. Nah, it'll be all right. Oh, what? Oh, no. Did I miss it? Come on, mate. You've got to rewind it, please.
Oh, not a chance, mate. You can catch it on the highlights reel. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
When you need a bus, call the #1 people movers, Go West. Go West are your solution for shutdowns and operations that require getting personnel into and out of remote locations. Go West have hire buses as well as charters to suit your needs, and safety is our primary focus, proven by more than 20 years of faultless service throughout WA. With bus depots in Karratha, Tom Price, Newman and Port Hedland, Go West can guarantee you continuity of service. Call Go West today. You'll find us online.
In the footy, we hear often in commentary, this is a big 5 minutes coming up. Well, at Tyre Power, your 5 minutes is here. Drive in for their free 5-minute tyre safety check. They'll check your tyre balance, tyre tread and air pressure. The safety of you and your family on the roads is not a game. So go visit your Aussie-owned local independent Tyre Power dealer today. Get 4 for the price of 3 on selected Kumho tyres during the store-wide super sale now on.
Looking for a pocket change mobile plan? Then make the switch to Mate and take advantage of Mate's unbeatable mobile offer where you pay $1 per month for the first 3 months. That's right, $1 per month for 3 months. Each plan includes unlimited talk and text to standard Aussie numbers plus 500 gigabyte data bank. And best of all, you can keep your own number. To sign up, visit letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online.
Installery. Well, the hottest of hot fun you've ever seen. Rain comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on. Install a ring. 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 Install a ring.
Ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Signet is ready for this round of footy. The optimism for your team's prospects.
The excitement of game day.
The march through the turnstile.
The team colours littered through the stadiums.
Are all ruined when you see your mobile in the red zone of battery life. So come on, don't be caught out this season. Get yourself a Signet power bank and make Signet part of your game day ritual. Power every moment with a Signet power bank. Available at major retailers and Signet.com.
Order the McValue bundle at Macca's today. A choice of your favourite burgers, together with fries and drinks for just $26.95. Did we just find something the whole family can agree on? Available between 10:30am and midnight at participating restaurants. See our website for details.
You're listening to Power Nation. For Hyundai, Google Peter Page Hyundai. And for Panasonic Air Conditioning. Macca's, I'm loving it moments. McDelivery has arrived on the My Macca's app.
Goes back, hits that one beautifully. And the pocket rocket from Gippsland. Well, it can tip winners and kick goals, can Tom Papley.
Hot footy, a high kick at goal by Powell Pepper. It's not 15, but it might not matter.
It's a goal.
It wasn't 15 out, but it's a goal. Dixon tapped it down. Quick kick out of the pack, floating home. Butters. This to put Port Adelaide in front.
Who would have thought?
In the shadows of halftime, from 40, leans back on it, never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Welcome back to AFL Nation. Miles Fitzner, Adam White and Josh Jenkins with you. And those highlights there for I'm Loving It moments for Macca's. McDelivery has arrived on the My Macca's app. Now it's time for the halftime floor show. For Choices Flooring, see your floor change in an instant with Room View. Alrighty.
The Choices Flooring halftime floor show. See your floor change in an instant with Room View.
Well, we saw that game change in an instant. We certainly did. The stat trap for safety steel sheds. Josh Jenkins for over 50 years of steel and still going strong. Who's had them and how many?
Yes, well, for the Swannies, Florence had 15. Warner's had 14 and a goal. He's been good considering he started on the interchange in both quarters. Lloyd has had 11, including 6 marks. We know they like to get the ball in his hands. Parker and Goulden 10 each for the Power. Butters 15 and a goal. Wines has had 12. Dursum has been good with 12. Rosie's had his 12 as well. In terms of the team stats, Port have had more of the footy, plus 12 in that regard, but they've handballed the ball a lot. Sydney, on the back of that, have had more inside 50s, plus 10 inside 50s for the Swannies. The disposal efficiency 70 to 65% in favour of the Swans. Efficiency inside 50, this is a key number. Not about how many times you go inside 50, it's about how many times you score when you go inside 50. Port have been very good, 56.3%. The league average is 51%. Free kicks about the same, 10 v 11. Laddams has been on top in the ruck situations, 18 hit-outs to 9, but Port have overcome that, winning the clearances 19 to 13, including 5-2 out of the centre.
What about our player of the day so far for Whirlpool, your leader in kitchen and laundry appliances?
I have got a split decision at this point. I asked for a better effort or a bigger game or more output from Zach Butters, and he's done exactly that. 15 disposals. He's had 9 kicks, 6 handballs. He's taken the 1 mark, a couple of clearances around the footy, and a nice goal to kickstart or to keep the momentum going for the Power. And Chad Warner, 14 disposals, a very nice running goal in the first quarter. He's laid a couple of tackles and had 4 clearances.
The Australian-made smart play. It's important to buy Australian right now, Josh.
Well, I've seen a couple of umpiring decisions that were incredibly smart. They looked like they were holds from the player in the position at the back of the contest, but it was actually the player at the front who was clinging and pinning the arms, which made it look like a hold. The umpires pinned the player who was actually doing the pinning. Very, very astute umpiring.
It might be the 4-umpire situation where umpires are in a better position to adjudicate on those ones.
Indeed.
Of course, support Aussie-made products. Now, the unmissable moments for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise.
Well, I'm not a journalist. I'm not a newsbreaker. I don't chase these things down, but I'll be working with a couple tomorrow, Tom Morris and Sarah Ollie. The score review. Is it working or is it not working? We need to get to the bottom of it, because having to sit through those two score reviews, it was unmissable for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, that's a fair call. The toughest of the day for hard yakka, for a new breed of legends. Hard yakka legendary gear. It's been a hot game.
Yeah, it has. One of the young guns who doesn't get the kudos that his teammates get, Warner and Goulden and those types, get all the love. Rowbottom's a very tough inside midfielder. He's so much younger than you think he is. He's laid 7 tackles in the first half, the most tackles of anyone on the ground. The next best is 5 from Dan Houston. So James Rowbottom, the young gun, inside midfielder for the Swans.
Now we need an Amy Clanger. Who covers clangers on and off the field? Amy does.
Well, the Amy Clanger, I'm going to, unfortunately, ARC, the ARC, they have had a couple of clangers as far as I'm concerned.
Bang!
I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm not going to be the one doing the work, but I'll be getting to the bottom of whether the ARC is fully functioning or not. And let's hope we don't have to go back to the ARC tonight.
What about our mark of the day for Flight Centre, your real deal centre?
Well, it looked... Perhaps it looked better than it was live, but Jason Horne-Francis's mark coming out of the goal scorer as a full forward, he just jumped up at the footy. It was very explosive, very powerful. He took it with one grab. I thought that was a very good mark. Apologies to Xavier Dersma. Yeah.
Our power play rankings for Red Energy. Switch to Red Energy.
We love the power play player rankings as I bring them up. And in the first half, Florent leading the way with 54, Warner 52, Lloyd 50, and Rowbottom 46 for Port Adelaide, Houston 48, Butters 45, and Horne-Francis 45.
That's for Red Energy for 100% Australian electricity and gas.
The MEGT Rookie of the Day, Need Apprentices. Talk to MEGT.
I've liked the work of Dylan Williams. I thought he's had a pretty good first half. He's trying to do the right things. The Swans are a tough team to play against, so I've liked his 8 disposals in the first half of footy. Number 23 for the Port Power.
Let MEGT help you find the best workforce talent. Now, around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, heading to Chemist Warehouse for great savings every day. It is half-time at Marvel Stadium between St Kilda and Gold Coast. The Saints kicked away in the second term. They kicked 5 goals in the second quarter to lead 8-6-54 to Gold Coast 4-8-32. That's at Marvel.
Did you catch the celebrations of Jack Higgins? He's on the rooster. He's,
we're seeing more of these.
Yeah, plenty of them.
Even
it must
on
be Ross. Is it Ross encouraging
right,
it? Do you think it is?
On Thursday night, I'm not sure if you saw, Charlie Cameron with the John Denver, the road song. When they kick the goal, they start singing their own song.
Yeah. It gets in there.
They kick the goal.
The more the merrier.
Hey, can I just ask you a quick question? Lance Franklin and Amati, they've had the 5 touches between them. It looks like an area for Sydney that they've been let down a little bit, bombing it in high, going in forward.
Yeah.
If you've got 2 sort of talented tall forwards like that, not having much of the footy, it's going to be hard to score.
It is a big watches space for the Swans because, Lance Franklin will pretty much play for as long as he wants to play, and you can't not play a man who's kicked over 1,000 goals, but he's been nowhere. He's only had 3 disposals. Alia's had him under control. Amati's only had the 2 disposals, just taken 1 mark. So between the 3 big forwards, they've only taken 2 marks, and Logan McDonald's goal was from that deliberate rush behind, which was not even really there. So absolutely no impact for the Swans bigs.
It's more the way they're bringing it forward.
It is,
all over the place.
Mate, they're always, forwards, I try and tell everyone, victim of circumstance.
Now, there's 2 bits of news that we should mention before we get to our next break. Firstly, Paddy McCartan. Now, he got subbed out in the first probably 5 minutes of the game with concussion. So that will certainly be something that Tom and Sarah will be following tomorrow, because that's big news when it involves concussion and Paddy McCartan. He was quite emotional on the bench. He did watch the first half, so it wasn't as though he was in the rooms or anything like that. He wasn't knocked out cold, but certainly from what seems like a head clash to the ground or an eye issue or something, it seemed... It just didn't seem significant at the time watching it.
He was as wobbly as you ever see
guys on the ground.
He was. Now, the other bit of news coming through from the match review officer, and that is that Harry Mackay has been offered a one-game suspension for, I guess you'd call it striking to Harry Sheasel, but they'd have to
challenge that.
one, wouldn't they?
I think that was. I need to get my facts straight because of been getting ready for this game, but I believe they deemed it medium impact. They'll challenge that, and that'll be taken back to low impact, and he'll get off. He'll get off that. I would, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would say that is he'll get off that.
Geez, that's the first light for the game so far. That was a halftime floor show thanks to Choices Flooring. Choices Flooring are giving away the ultimate VIP grand final experience. You and a mate could enter the experience for all the hype of the grand final week firsthand and then be at the big match itself, the 2023 Toyota AFL Grand Final. All you have to do is head to iCanWin.com.au to enter right now. This is AFL Nation for Elders for Australian Agriculture and Tyre Power #1 this season. Miles Fitzner, Adam White and Josh Jenkins will be back right after this.
You're listening to Power Nation. For Hyundai, Google Peter Page Hyundai. And for Panasonic Air Conditioning.
40 crispy chicken McNuggets are for friends. Together with tangy Cajun sauce, close friends only. Pick up juicy chicken and tangy Cajun at Macca's drive-thru today. Select items available for a limited time.
Installery.
For the hottest of hot water you've ever seen. Rain comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on. Installery.
Ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
For our great game, Aussie Rules, since 1912, the AFL Record has been its most iconic publication. The cries of "Record, get your record!" are etched into our game day ritual. We buy one on the way into the match, mark down the goal kickers, then some of us tuck it away as a keepsake. You can be part of this AFL match day experience. Job opportunities are available as an AFL Record seller as well as sales supervisors. Go to aflrecord.com.au and click on careers to express your interest right now.
More and more Australian families are getting the power with Tyre Power. And you can too during their store-wide super sale now on. Tyre Power continues to be a champion for road safety. Next road trip, make Tyre Power your first stop and find out why Tyre Power is Australia's best. During the store-wide super sale, get the equivalent of 25% off when you buy 3, get 1 free on selected Kumho passenger and SUV tyres. Each Tyre Power is 100% independent and locally owned. Find your Aussie local at tyrepower.com.au.
Tired of overpaying for your mobile plan? Make the switch to Mate and experience unbeatable value. For a limited time, enjoy $1 per month for the first 3 months of your mobile plan. That's pocket change, mate. Each plan includes unlimited talk and text to standard Aussie numbers, plus a 500GB data bank. You can even keep your own mobile number. Visit letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online to sign up and start saving today.
This new footy season, we all start on a level playing field. 100% ready to go. Or are we? Have you done your Signet Powerbank pre-season? Your tickets, your food, your drinks, your wallet, your Mikey. It's all linked to your phone. Through the turnstiles, at the bar, in the food line, take it to the Signet Powerbank. There's a new game day ritual this season. Keys, phone, Signet. Power every moment with a Signet Powerbank. Available at major retailers and signet.com.
I'm going to go to the toilet and grab some more beers. Pause it for me? No way, mate. We're not pausing live sport. If he kicks this, we're in front. Nah, it'll be all right. Oh, what? Oh, no. Did I miss it? Come on, mate. You got to rewind it, please.
Oh, not a chance, mate. You can catch it on the highlights reel. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
Explore Karajini National Park on this new fun Go West tour. With experienced guides, you'll discover the ancient gorges and spectacular scenery. Travel on 4x4 buses into the 4 corners of the national park and leave your troubles behind at camp. If you're flying into the Pilbara, you can book airport transport services to Karajini as well. We have you covered with safe, fun and memorable experiences in the Karajini National Park with Go West Tours. Visit gowesttours.com.au.
Order the McValue bundle at Macca's today. A choice of your favourite burgers, together with fries and drinks for just $26.95. Did we just find something the whole family can agree on? Available between 10:30am and midnight at participating restaurants. See our website for details.
You're listening to Power Nation for Hyundai. Google Peter Page Hyundai and for Panasonic Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to AFL Nation. The McDelivery, the ball for Macca's. McDelivery has arrived on the MyMac app. This is AFL Nation for Elders for Australian Agriculture. Tom McCartan is out with concussion as well. So breaking here at the ground that both McCartan brothers are out with concussion. And we saw the second one there, which was on the hip of Todd Marshall, and follows after Paddy being ruled out with concussion as well. So both McCartans out of the game here at the SCG, and both got sort of...
so that's your fullback and your centre half back, effectively.
Yeah, and that's the... You know, it's a strange storyline and a bit of a sad storyline, but your key defenders are both gone.
All tied up here at the SCG. Miles Fitzner, Josh Jenkins and Adam White for Tyre Power number 1 this season. The ball's back in the centre of the ground. Adam White to take it away.
We're locked at 30 apiece as we start the second half. And Butters comes through, gives the handball to Houston, who dropped the ball, so it goes back into the mess of players. Warner gets a handball out to Laddams, who just chisels a ball cleverly out to the wing. And the mark taken by Mills, who kicks deep into the pocket. Franklin took it on the bounce close to the boundary, then gets knocked over by Aaliyah, who kicks it sort of a little just across the body. Not really good at all. McInerney picked it up for the Swans, gave it to Hayward, kicks inside the 50. Amati got hands to it, couldn't take the mark. Butters gets tackled, comes out to Warner, handball to Papley, on his left, round the body. He's given Sydney the lead, but only by a point. He's only 30 out there. I would have backed him in, even though he was on his non-preferred.
He's looking dangerous, though, Papley, inside 50.
Dangerous, but it's not converting. 4-7-31. They lead Port Adelaide 4-6-30 on the Mate Internet, Mate the Switch to Mate Mobile scoreboard. Farrell to bring the ball in. Holding the ball basketball style. One hand. He runs around on his left side to bring it out towards our commentary position. Sitting under it was Rampy. He was the intended target. Butters getting active. Wheeled around, handball to Drew. He's nearly in trouble. Warner dumped him after he kicked it. Getting back, nobody home except for Peter Adams at centre half back for the Swans. And he'll have to set up behind the football pretty well. They've caught him play on. Finlayson wrapped him up. And it's holding the footy. Well, we'll get a look at this on the car sales, everything you ought to know replay.
Yes, we will. I'd love to. Oh, my goodness gracious me.
That's Amy Klanger if there's ever going to be one.
Oh, he's moved the ball an inch.
That's the fake handball, which they've said you're not allowed to do, but that his arms have barely moved. So Finlayson directly in front. We'll talk about it after the goal. He's kicked 1-1 already, had the 8 disposals. Jeremy Finlayson directly in front will kick from 48. He's hit it sweetly straight through the middle and off a howler from the umpire. Finlayson kicks his second. The first of the second half go to Port Adelaide. They lead by 5 on the Mate Internet, Mate the Switch to Mate Internet and mobile scoreboard. Josh Jenkins, that is as touchy as the rule is ever going to get.
I won't name the umpire because I've got no idea who he is anyway. You won't see it. Oh, gee, that's a contender for worst decision of the year.
Look, he did take half a step off his line.
Did his feet move?
No, he did. They did, but, gee.
He's barely stood up from the tackle. He's barely stood up.
He was electrically hot on that.
This is thanks to car sales again. Sell your car the hassle-free way with car sales instant offer. He stood up and took one half to the right. Oh, that's... Wow.
I tell you what, Jeremy Finlayson
doesn't care. Look at this replay here. Now watch. He just took that one step.
He's still got his arm.
I don't like it.
The rule changed for the full fake handball to draw the 50. Not for that.
Wow.
Not for that at all.
Wow.
And now we're going to get a restart in the middle of the first bounce.
Oh, well, Finlayson doesn't care. He's got a couple.
We're seeing it all tonight.
Port Adelaide now in front by 5 points. Lysette jumped early. Now it's a block. And it is going Sydney's way to Laddams.
He would have got away with that, but he just didn't touch the footy on the way.
He faked the handball again. He's been told to play on.
Sense
of humour, Paul, there from Laddams. Now up to the 50. Papley through traffic. Still Papley holding the ball. That was just too ambitious from Tom and Bergman to get the free kick holding the ball.
Lack of options, though.
Yeah, he spreads it wide. Lysette took the mark, gives the handball on to Boak, rushes the handball to Pau Pepper. Back now towards Farrell. He's tackled, gets out of two tackles, Farrell, and then gives the handball inside to Rosie. He gets tackled. Rowbottom got him. Throw, free kick, Sydney.
He's a gun tackler, Rowbottom.
Defensive wing, interchange gate side of the SCG. 17 to go in the third.
Just wincing a fraction is Rowbottom.
Port by 5 points.
So just down to the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready once more. Tom McCartan out of the game as well with concussion. So Rowbottom goes laterally. A few short options have called not 15. Lloyd has to sidestep one way or the other. Sets the ball up towards centre half forward. Who was that? That's Amati. He flew up over the top. Big fly. Houston now clearing for Port Adelaide at right half back. Buddy in tow. Thought it might have been Franklin before in that contest. So Port Adelaide through Marshall. Centre wing out of side. Look wider again. Stand! So the stand rule. No handballs faked over here. Port looking to go inside 50 once more. Boak at centre half forward. He doesn't go that way. Looks up towards the pocket. It's a nothing kick. Drew was the intended target. Only went as far as Rampy. Getting back there, Dersma. Left-handed handball to Butters. He half dropped it. Marshall. He gathers. Handball's over towards the direction of Mead. On his right boot, they go inside 50. May have been touched or not. No, Lysette. He jumps up, takes a mark, and he'll kick 45-degree angle about 35 out.
Josh, both ruckmen are having a big say in this match, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're almost taking turns in a sense. They were former teammates. Ladham's been good, 10 disposals and 11 hitouts, but Lysette's been good too. 10 touches, 8 hitouts, 6 clearances, and looking for a goal.
61 in his career, Scott Lysette. He's the main man for them at Port Adelaide. Nearly directly in front, maybe a bit closer to the angle, comes off the side of the boot, and the wind takes it even further. A little bit gusty here at the SCG, and that's blowing from our commentary position to the outer side of the ground. So shots are fading to the right if they're kicking to the left as Sydney look to clear out of defence.
Rampy goes as long as he can towards the outer side of the ground. Heaney up, couldn't take the mark. Jonas with a spoil over the top. Stays inside the field of play for Golden. Got the handball to Campbell. Now Fox runs into trouble. Handball ricochets to McInerney. Got almost his head taken off.
I didn't see it. Sorry, guys.
And
that looked a high tackle.
I didn't see it. Sorry.
Well, the umpire, as you could hear, just said, look, I didn't see it.
It's a coat hanger.
Oh, we did, and it was
Surprised
a
he
free
didn't
kick.
see it. He didn't throw it up. Lysette wins the tap down. Stevens for the Swans through the mess. Kicks back towards the wing. Franklin and Aaliyah. Aaliyah go at it. Aaliyah off the ground. Straight to McDonald, though, of Sydney. Handballs over the top to Buddy. Buddy inboard. Handball to Warner. Warner can't beat the second tackle. Beat the first, not the second. Terrific work there by Dersma. And he'll take the free kick for Port Adelaide. Sydney just can't get it going at the moment.
JJ, he's looked as dangerous as I've seen him for a while, Dersma.
Yeah, I think he's just figuring out how to play on that wing, get up and down and transition when you haven't got the ball and run hard when you do.
The Port looking to play on quickly. The kick got intercepted by Blakey. Tucked the ball under his arm. He had Rioli in tow. Blakey chips. Little 45 option.
High tackle.
It was a high tackle. McInerney. Now to Papley in space. Off one step. The shot. Aaliyah's the only one at home. Doesn't even make the journey, and Aaliyah will mark for Port. So short option. Dersma again. We'll get his stats for safety steel sheds because it's running hot at the start of this quarter for Ream. Marshall pushing up the ground at right half back. Outer side under the Victor Trumper stand. Marshall.
He's within 2 metres.
Well, as you can see, the Sydney player ran past and they were appealing for a 50-metre penalty within 2 metres, so his opposition player. So Marshall still at right half back. Looks long up the line. Dixon trying to get across, sitting in underneath it was Dylan Stevens. Umpire blows his whistle and we'll have a boundary throw in. Now 70 around from the Port Adelaide goal on the non-commentary side. He's out of his weight division there, Stevens.
He is.
Man mountain that is Charlie Dixon.
Just building a career for himself, Stevens. It's been a slow burn for a high draft pick.
So Wines tackled by Rowbottom. The fend-off tried to come. Rampy got in there as well, and Luke Parker. Pepper gets in, picks Wines up. umpire.
Tough boys in there in that
We'll
contest.
throw it in again. They're not 2 or 3 you'd want to meet in a dark alley late at night. 60 around from goal now, non-commentary side. So Lysett and Laddams in a duel. Lysett got the better of it. Took it out of the ruck. Left foot snap on. He went as far as Dylan Stevens on his left around the corner. And only went as far as Trent McKenzie. Can kick a long way, Adam White.
Port by 5 points. 13 minutes remaining in the third term. The kick inside 50. Again, just so many players at that drop of the ball. Stevens for the Swans. Handballs to Warner. He wants to take Lysett on, and he's getting away. He's 70 from home. He kicks in towards centre-half forward. Over the top of Papley. Heaney there in support. He gets tackled to the ground. Terrific work there by Williams. And it'll be a throw-up 30 metres out from Sydney's goal.
Been lively.
The electric speed from Warner. Should have kept going. Well, Lysett just grabs it out of the ruck because no Sydney ruckman was in that contest. Kicks it back into midfield. Marshall couldn't mark. Crumbs to Rioli. Rushes a kick forward of centre. Dixon taps it on further. It was clever. Butters grabs the ball. Gets tackled by Cunningham. The ball bounces along inside 50. Campbell picks it up for the Swans. Handballs to Rampy. Now to Blakey. Blakey from centre half back. Spearing ball to the wing is good. And the Swans can build down the far side.
Sydney back through the centre. Found Warner again. Runs his full journey. Lowers the eyes.
Smart.
Went wider to find Papley. He could have blazed. Now, Papley hasn't been kicking the ball great at a short option present. And that's Haywood. So Haywood probably 15, 20 closer, only just. Kicked this from about a 48-degree angle, and he's a very good kick, Will Haywood.
He is, but he hasn't had many of them tonight. He's only coming up for his 4th disposal for Safety Steel Sheds, and just around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Head into Chemist Warehouse for great savings every day. The Saints are running away 12-6-78 to 5-9-39. The Suns.
Believe it. For another lead change. They trail by 5. Hits it, and it fades just slightly to the left. Like we mentioned, that wind a little bit of a factor here. We're shooting at goal. They get another minor score, 4-8-32. They trail Port Adelaide, 5-6-36. The Power, they lead by 4.
Might be a 3-club breeze.
It's just pushing from our side to the outer side. So kicking at goal, it's going right across the face of them.
Williams runs out of the goal square. Kicks as long as he can. Out to half back. Again, a massive pack of players. Boak at ground level got the handball to Horn Francis through the traffic. Floats the ball towards the wing. Rampy attacked it. Couldn't get there on the full. Campbell in support though. Handball to Rampy. Handballs on to Parker, to Florence. It's all quick hands in close confines. Maybe one too many. Lloyd's dispossessed. It's been turned over. Mead gets the handball out to McEntee and up to Powell Pepper, who marks it at the 50. They just went one too many handballs, the Swans.
Yeah, they've done it a bit, but you've got to give great credit to the Port Adelaide pressure and tackling intent. They want to get after the Swans players because they know they like to flick the footy around.
Two of the young Port Adelaide players getting involved to get the ball to Powell Pepper. He's already got one. This from the 50, right of centre. Keeps it low, but another one that goes on the breeze and misses to the right-hand side. Port Adelaide's lead is 5 points. 10 and 3/4 minutes remaining in the third.
You'd have to be left post there by the look of that. And when they're starting right, they're staying right, kicking to that end.
There's a bit in it.
The kick came out, was intended for Lloyd, goes over his head and over the boundary line. And the throw-in, Rosie forgetting it's not SANFL. And
thought it was. He hasn't played SANFL for a while. He should know better. The Saints are on fire at Marvel. Kicked 9 of the past 10 goals as we go around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse.
So thanks to Mate Internet, Mate, the switch to Mate Mobile. The margin, 5 points favouring Port Adelaide. Kick comes up to centre wing, far side. Amati back there, couldn't gather. Getting it underneath to Goulden. Haven't called him a lot.
Thanks.
Normally a high accumulator, Errol Goulden. We'll get a stat for him for safety steal.
There's just even been no space for any of Sydney's playmakers, Miles.
They normally love the contested, high tackling, hard stuff, Sydney.
11 for Goulden.
Not
for
tonight.
Steal.
So overrunning it was Parker. Getting in Wines. That sort of shin pad on. Tried to get a kick away over the boundary, is it? They haven't paid 15 for the mark, so he's taken it over the boundary line. Burn Jones, a sub. We see down on the boundary for Spitwater. Tough and ready. Not activated yet. Fresh legs and a handy play to have there. We're going to see Heaney sitting at the back of the pack. He gathers. Handballs to the way of Mills. Comes up through the centre of the ground. Papley tried to gather one-handed, just a bit fumbly. He was held. So he'll get the free kick. Spent it before he had it, Papley, but got lucky.
They're bringing Heaney up as an extra as a forward to be an extra around the footy. I think primarily to get him in the game. He's only had the 7 disposals and hasn't hit the scoreboard for Safety Steel Sheds.
Expert for local expert. A job well done up towards the hot spot. Free kick here. Holding against Franklin, going to Aliir, and he's had the chocolates of him all night.
This is becoming a bit of a problem for Sydney tonight. Aliir's really controlling Buddy, and Buddy's starting to give away some free kicks in the same way we saw him do it against Stephen May in one game last year.
Finlayson takes the mark from Aliir. Aliir's kick. Short ball into Houston, who's told to play on, so goes back to Finlayson. A little lateral ball close to the interchange gates. Now even closer to the interchange gates with a short pass to Rosie. He'll give back to Finlayson, so 3 in this chain for him as he's kicked towards the 50. Up they go, Rampy with the spoil at the drop. Horn Francis, gets coat hanged. High tackle by Amadi.
Saw that one.
Well, he couldn't have missed that one. He almost lost his head. And Horn Francis will take the free kick just outside the 50, left of centre.
Has he got this, JJ?
Well, with that breeze pushing it away from goal, it's going to be a difficult kick. You'll really have to thump it into the goal.
It's kind of over his left shoulder, but no, he's going to go short. He's not going to go. He's just going to pop it up. He wants Dixon, who stretches, can't take the mark. Parker dispossessed. Rioli with the snap. He's missed to the left from 20. Just so many players inside 50 at both ends of the ground, so both teams are getting numbers back and flooding and making it hard for the respective forward lines. The lead 6 points to Port.
8.5 remaining, third quarter. AFL Nation, Miles Fitzner, Adam White, Josh Jenkins, Elders for Australian Agriculture, and Tyre Power number 1 this season. Down the outer wing, they come inboard, the Swans. Had a host of options, went further to find Mills. He's at centre-half forward. He gives off, I think it's Florent. Shot on goal, and he doesn't miss. Florent's been on fire. He's been running hot for Ream, steady, hot and strong. The quick handball and the fast transition from the Swans through the corridor. Haven't seen it since early in the first quarter, and Florent adds to his already growing possession tally. Made short work of it from 50.
Yeah, it was a nice finish. It was a really good passage of play, as called by Miles Fitzner. Florent now becoming one of the more influential players on the ground. 18 disposals he has had, and that was his first goal for the evening for Safety Steel Sheds. He's been really damaging, and he's the type of player, when Sydney can get their overlap game going, they love to give handballs right beside the man on the mark to get some overlap and generate things, and that was the way he got his goal there. He ran right beside the player with the ball, knowing the man on the mark can't move until he's been called to play on, and Florent was able to run over the 50 and go a bang.
On the Mate Internet scoreboard, it is 5-8-38 apiece. Make the switch to Mate Mobile. With 8 minutes remaining in the third term. Perfect bounce back in the middle. Laddams jumped early, won the tap down. Parker, though, fumbled the footy. Powell-Pepper came off the square. Got a hand pass under pressure to Butters. To Rosie, running the wrong way. Spins around. Kicks it wide towards right half forward. Backing back, taking the mark is Stevens for the Swans. Gives the handball on to Campbell, close to the boundary. Long ball, almost towards half forward. Amadi was the target. Coming for the spoil was McKenzie. Ball goes over the boundary line for a throw-in.
They're in a difficult position, Sydney, because they're already 1 down, so they've used their sub for Paddy McCartan. Tom McCartan's off. They're down key backs, and they've got 3 tall forwards who just can't draw a footy at the moment.
Yeah.
So they're up against it in that sense from a personnel point of view.
Laddams and Lysette. Lysette wins it down. Rosie's tackled as he tried to charge clear. Good tackle from Golden. And we'll have a throw-up.
Just to emphasise that, Amadi's had 3 disposals, Franklin 5, and has given away 3 free kicks, and then Logan McDonald's had 6 and 1 goal only.
Drew is tackled by Golden, a strong tackle again, and we'll have a throw-up. So everywhere we look, there's just a massive players around every contest. Butters here off the pack from the throw-up. Kicks it back forward of the wing. Spoil comes from Lloyd. He's looking for the boundary and he finds it where the ball will be thrown in. 7 minutes remaining in the third term here. It's 38 apiece on the Mate Internet scoreboard.
Butters starting to get lively. lot of players sort of trying to take on the tackler tonight. Get through the first one, open it up. Laddams gets to the front, Lysett chased him up and tried to get a hand to it. Wine's got the crumb. Inside 50 they go once more. Danger territory, drop mark there by Mead. Getting back was Campbell, wrapped up by McEntee. And we'll have a ball up, about 45 out. McEntee was a mid-season draft pick for Port. Laddams takes it out of the ruck, got tackled by Dixon. Clearing kick from the Swans. It was smothered off the boot. Only as far as Jonas set up behind the ball. Mills got tackled by McEntee, getting in there. Haywood tried to find space, only went as far as Drew. He punched it back towards goal, but back there was Stevens. Went wider now. Florent lowers the eyes, tried to hit a target, and does. Parker, not quite the mark, but Drew made sure he earned it. Dumped him after. Parker, short kick again. It's what they like to do, the Swans. Control possession. Stevens has about 7 or 8 yards of space in front of Lysett. Looks up towards Franklin. Aaliyah getting cross in front too, and in support was Goulden. Aaliyah lost his shoe. Ball goes over the boundary. 35 around from maybe 40 around, non-commentary side from the Sydney goal.
You love to see it, Aaliyah. Always playing the game with a smile on his face, a la Eddie Betts. Even when he's doing something bad, he smiles.
That's right. From the throw-in, neither Ruckman won it down. Wine's got the handball, so then kicks it as far as he can out. Oh, it's been called insufficient intent.
Ball seemed to be playing a lot that side with that wind,
yes,
isn't it?
That's a very good call, Miles. The free kick was just a little lateral ball, and then another little lateral ball to Blakey. He's got to the logo. Now he kicks it long inside 50. Again, another massive pack. Franklin did get hands to that one at the front. It goes through his hands and out of bounds for a throw-in. Left forward pocket for the Swans.
They've just bombed inside 50 a lot. Regular occasion.
They've wasted a lot of their inside 50s. They're leading the inside 50s 42-28 for safety steel sheds, but just not getting a bang for buck in there.
Lysett wins it down to the front. Farrell clears it for Port Adelaide back towards that outer wing. Dixon got there on the bounce, knocked it in McEntee's direction and tried to go back to Dixon. That wasn't clever. Rampy comes up with the ball for the Swans. Handballs it out. Now Florent again. Long kick inside 50. What about Franklin this time? No, he couldn't mark. Aaliyah beat him again. Gets the handball out to Dersma. Dersma out to Bergman. Squeezes a kick back to the wing. That's not a good kick. Turned over. Lloyd with a mark for the Swans on the logo.
Lloyd, 45 hit. Finds Goulden. Wheels around on his left. Looked up towards the hot spot again. And coming out there was McDonald. It's probably one of the better inside 50 entries and a contender for the Flight Centre mark of the day. And just wanted to ask you quickly while we've got a moment, our player of the day for Whirlpool Kitchen and Laundry Appliances, you'd think Florence be making a case?
He is. I'll tell you what, Aaliyah is making a case as well. He is absolutely taking Lance Franklin to the cleaners.
So McDonald, kick one at the 16-minute mark of the first quarter. Directly in front. Kicks from 45. Straight through over the umpire's head and through the middle. The Swans, they hit the front by 6 points. He gets his second. 4.5 remaining in the third quarter here on AFL Nation. And we see when they lower their eyes, the Swans, and go inside 50 without bombing, they are effective. And well, running hot for Ream, steady hot and strong. Or your player of the day for Whirlpool. Florent is having some sort of impact on this game.
He certainly is. Plus 16 inside 50s now, the Swans. The scoreboard, more importantly than the inside 50s, only says 6 points of difference. But when it becomes a big number, it means your backs are trying to defend against a lot of footy coming in. Even if it's high, the ball's coming in high and not without much method, it's still a lot for your defenders to have to do. So Port need to get on top around the footy and get a little bit more bang for buck from them because they're winning the clearances, but Sydney just finding a way to bang it inside their forward 50.
Good clean entry and execution. Could be a crucial moment for New Farm. Australian through and through. 44 plays 38 in the internet. Make the switch to Mate Mobile scoreboard.
Oh, Warden's got the clearance. He's run. He's taken a bounce and he kicks Tahini, who marks low down in the pocket, the left forward pocket. But again, the electric speed of Chad Warner, who just charged forward from that centre bounce and found one of the most exciting players in the game who hasn't really had much to do so far tonight. This is a big moment Sydney with a 6-point lead now has a 6-point lead because he's missed everything. The big build-up, and he just screwed it back far too far and missed everything to the left.
Do you feel like they've had the better shots and missed? Would that be fair?
They've wasted that was a kickable shot. He'd probably kicked 6 out of 10 of those.
Yeah. No, that was just a bad kick, wasn't it? So Williams for Port Adelaide gets the free kick for the out of bounds on the full, goes down the line, it'll be another free kick to Port Adelaide. In fact, no, it's going Sydney's way. A push out to Fox, who gives the handball to Stevens. 60 out from goal to the top of the square. Franklin bounced off his chest. McDonald was there as well. At ground level, Sydney have got the representation. Warner with the snap. He's missed to the left. Another let off for Port Adelaide. The lead 7 points, 3.5 remaining in the third term. On the Mate Internet scoreboard.
They're peppering here, the Swans, thanks to Tyre Power #1 this season. And JJ, our expert, the local expert, a job well done. Just a little surge here before three-quarter time.
It's a crucial 3.5 minutes both ways. Sydney kick 1, maybe 2. Haven't been a lot of goals kicked in the game. It could be a match-winning lead. And equally for Port, if they can get one, then they square things up and feel pretty good about themselves going into three-quarter time.
Man-on-man from the kick-ins. Farrell went out to left half-back. McInerney wrapped it up. Umpire said, give it to me. So still 70, maybe 65 from the Sydney goal. Commentary side, haven't seen the ball here much at all. Horne-Francis might have had his hand held, still gathered, went out now to Williams on his left. Sort of a high sky ball. McInerney sat under it, couldn't mark. Overrunning it was Rampy. Socket out of the pack was Wines. So through half-back for the Swans. They try to clear the kick towards Papley, wasn't good enough. Stevens, he couldn't gather. Boak shepherded him out. Wrapped up in a big tackle, came Farrell by Papley. Umpire said, I'll have it. So 2.5, bit over 2.5 remaining. 6-9-45. The Swans lead Port Adelaide 5-8-38 on the Mate Internet. Mate the switch to Mate Mobile scoreboard.
Ball thrown up, one down by Laddams. And now Heaney. Handball out was good. Now to Warner from 40 on the fly. Yes! He's got his second, and he looks like he could be the game breaker. Sydney out by 13 points. 2.5 minutes remaining before three-quarter time. And that was a crucial goal just to give that buffer, Josh Jenkins, before the last break.
Yeah, outstanding. He's worked his way tirelessly into the game. 23 disposals, 6 clearances. That was his second goal. He'd been going at about 7 out of 10 to start the season, Chad Warner. He's staring at a best on ground. And as we mentioned only a minute ago, such a crucial time late in the third quarter. So many games are won and lost in this period. And the Swans, so 3.5 minutes to go, which was a minute ago, we said if they can get one more, 13 points when Port have only kicked 5 is a decent old lead. There's still time for both sides to continue the scoring.
The margin hit 24 points halfway through the second quarter in favour of the Swans. Port Adelaide got it back to even pegging at half-time. And now the Swans back out to a 13-point margin. So 2.5 remaining. Thanks to Mate Internet, Elders and Tyre Power. Boak, the back of the pack. Had support from Williams. Big long left boot up towards centre half forward. It goes over the head of Dixon. Finlayson overran it also. Dixon managed to gather from the bounce. He had no support. Wrapped up in underneath was Cunningham. Umpire said no, I'll have it. And the boy from Wagga gets up from the bottom of the pack. Maybe a bit of a high or a dumping sort of free kick there. Laddams on Butters. Dixon against Laddams. So Rampy tried to get a clearing kick away and free kick mark taken, should I say, at half-back for the Swannies. Hayward has options. Laterally. Uses Campbell. Don't really have anything looking to go up the line.
So he goes as far as he can. Towards the tall timber, Alir's marked and hits the ground running and goes back inside 50 for Port Adelaide. Marshall couldn't mark, off the ground by Rampy. Clears the danger zone. Maybe one more time for the Swans. Through comes Robbie Fox, gives the handball across to Warner. Now to Mills. They're still running in a wave, the Swans. Front part of the square. Long bomb, he's close. Amadi going back. He can't take the mark, and it's gone through for a behind.
Superb spoil, but Mackenzie it was, with an excellent spoil on Amati. Bit of a wasted kick, 2 metres from the goal line. It was going to go through for a behind, but probably could have done a bit better there, the Swans.
To the boundary throw-in. Danger territory here for Port Adelaide. Can't concede another. Laddams down to Papley. Left foot snap, dribble. Handball across the top. Went as far as Rowbottom. Wrapped up. Awesome tackle by Aliir. Soccer out of the air came from Parker. All happening deep in the Swans forward line, and a free kick paid. It's going to go against Parker.
Kicked it out of bounds on the full, trying the soccer.
It was after.
Volley. Yeah, that's right.
Kicked out of bounds. So Aliir just a little limp. He's got some heavy bandaging on the left hamstring, and Wines clearing out towards our commentary side, getting to the front. Dixon, Rosie rove well, Lysett had support from Orn. Francis ignored him. Got to be holding the footy. That is.
They've got a hold here, Port. 52 seconds to go. Ball's about to go back inside 50 for the Swans.
The Parker, not a great kick to set up for Franklin. The delivery awful. Big punch from Mackenzie again over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. And less than a minute remaining in the third quarter. Sydney Swans 7-9-51. They lead Port Adelaide 5-8-38. Miles Fitzner, Adam White, Josh Jenkins, all thanks to Welders and Tyre Power.
So, 20 metres around from Sydney's goal. Right forward pocket. Less than a minute before three-quarter time. Lysett tried to grab it out of the ruck. He ended up getting a handball to Boak. Clearing kick. Out towards half-back. It could be coming back. Cunningham, though, lost handle of the ball. Butters didn't. Did very well. Then squeezes a kick into midfield. It's gone over the head there, though, of Boak. So it's a loose ball. McDonald was there for the Swans. Also Mills in support. Mills picked up the loose footy. Chipping ball is okay. Now the Swans, maybe they've got one last chance. Umpire says play on. So the kick goes long. Inside 50. Whistle. Free kick. It's going Buddy's way, is it?
Oh, that kick from Butters back inside. That would have to drive Ken Hinkley insane. What are you doing trying to whip one back inside with 20 seconds to go? Just get to three-quarter time. Live to see another day. Instead, Buddy gets an opportunity.
So all eyes on Lance Franklin. He hasn't scored tonight. He has a chance to put Sydney well and truly in front before or on three-quarter time. 20 metres out, left of centre. The kick is missing to the right. He hooked it. He allowed too much for the breeze. He kicked it through the breeze. It's Sydney by 14 points at the last change. 7-10-52 to 5-8-38 on the Mate Internet scoreboard.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power. Your match day favourites for tyre safety.
40 crispy chicken McNuggets are for friends. Together with tangy Cajun sauce, close friends only. Pick up juicy chicken and tangy Cajun at Macca's drive-thru today. Select items available for a limited time.
It's never been more important to buy Australian than right now. Our local manufacturers and growers produce world-class products known for their quality, safety and reliability. All while generating local jobs, supporting our communities and helping Australian families now and into the future. So look for the trusted green and gold kangaroo logo. Buy Australian now. Visit australianmade.com.au.
I'm going to go to the toilet and grab some more beers. Pause it for me? No way, mate. We're not pausing live sport. If he kicks this, we're in front. Nah, it'll be all right. Oh, what? Oh, no. Did I miss it? Come on, mate. You got to rewind it, please.
Oh, not a chance, mate. You can catch it on the highlights reel. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
When you need a bus, call the #1 people movers, Go West. Go West are your solution for shutdowns and operations that require getting personnel into and out of remote locations. Go West have hire buses as well as charters to suit your needs, and safety is our primary focus, proven by more than 20 years of faultless service throughout WA. With bus depots in Karratha, Tom Price, Newman and Port Hedland, Go West can guarantee you continuity of service. Call Go West today. You'll find us online.
In the footy, we hear often in commentary, this is a big 5 minutes coming up. Well, at Tyre Power, your 5 minutes is here. drive in for their free 5-minute tyre safety check. They'll check your tyre balance, tyre tread and air pressure. The safety of you and your family on the roads is not a game. So go visit your Aussie-owned local independent Tyre Power dealer today. Get 4 for the price of 3 on selected Kumho tyres during the store-wide super sale now on.
Looking for a pocket change mobile plan? Then make the switch to Mate and take advantage of Mate's unbeatable mobile offer where you pay $1 per month for the first 3 months. That's right, $1 per month for 3 months. Each plan includes unlimited talk and text to standard Aussie numbers plus 500 gigabyte data bank. And best of all, you can keep your own number. To sign up, visit letsbemates.com.au or search Mate online.
Installery, installery, installery.
For the hottest of hot party you've ever seen. Ream comes on steady, hot and strong. It just keeps on and on. Install a ring.
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 Ask your plumber for Ream, Australia's #1.
Signet is ready for this round of footy. The optimism for your team's prospects.
The excitement of game day.
The march through the turnstile
The team colours littered through the stadiums.
are all ruined when you see your mobile in the red zone of battery life. So come on, don't be caught out this season. Get yourself a Signet power bank and make Signet part of your game day ritual. Power every moment with a Signet power bank. Available at major retailers and Signet.com.
Order the McValue bundle at Macca's today. A choice of your favourite burgers, together with fries and drinks for just $26.95. Did we just find something the whole family can agree on? Available between 10:30 a.m. and midnight at participating restaurants. See our website for details.
It's coming round like a shockwave. You've played the game one too many times.
You're listening to Power Nation. For Hyundai, Google Peter Page Hyundai. And for Panasonic Air Conditioning. Macca's, I'm loving it moments. McDelivery has arrived on the My Macca's app.
Oh, that's the fake handball which they've said you're not allowed to do, but that his arms have barely moved. So Finlayson directly in front will kick from 48. He's hit it sweetly straight through the middle. Had a host of options, went further to find Mills. He's at centre half forward. He gives off. I think it's Florent. Shot on goal. And he doesn't miss. So McDonald kicks from 45, straight through the middle.
And now Heaney, handball out was good. Now to Warner from 40 on the fly. Yes!
Oh, well called there from Adam White. This is AFL Nation. Miles Fitzner, Adam White, Josh Jenkins with you. And they're our I'm Loving It moments for Macca's. McDelivery has arrived on the My Macca's app. And the McDelivery of the ball, that one gets me every time, boys. It's arrived on the My Macca's.
You're making me hungry, Miles.
Yeah, I certainly am. And I could go with some 10 chicken McNuggets for only $4.99. Or hopefully that's the same price still. Elders for Australian Agriculture and Tyre Power #1 this season. Some quick stats for safety steel sheds. Please, Josh Jenkins. There's a few players that are really starting to turn it on.
Yeah, Warner's one of them. He's had 25 and kicked a couple. The other one is Florent, 23 and a goal. Zach Butter's been outstanding for Port. I think he's been their best player alongside Aliir. Butters has had 22 and a goal.
I reckon I know which way you're going to go with our Toro. You can count on it. Count on it to Toro to get the job done for our tackler so far.
Rowbottom, 11 tackles in 3 quarters. He just does it week in and week out.
AFL Nation for Elders for Australian Agriculture and Tyre Power #1 this season. Adam White with the call.
Sydney to start the last quarter, 14 points in front. The bounce favours Lysett, so much so that the umpire wants to do it again.
Throw the ball up. Say it every week. Just throw it up.
No comment.
Oh, come on.
I'm a traditionalist.
Oh, throw it up.
He does throw it up. Lysett wins the tap down at the restart. Warner, though, for the Swans, picks up the loose ball. Got tackled as he kicked, and it did affect it, but fortunately fell to Campbell, who broke 2 tackles, then kicks back to the centre circles, and Luke Parker takes the mark for Sydney. Gets back to his feet on the cricket wicket. Oh, his kick was pretty ordinary, to be perfectly honest. somehow found Florent on the second bounce. Handball to Rowbottom, gets tackled to the ground, then tackles Jonas, and it's called incorrect disposal.
It's probably right. Jonas was just laying on the ground waiting for the ball up. This guy again, that's
Your
a
man.
dozen tackles for Rowbottom.
He's not only a good tackle, he's just a dead set hard yakka tough player.
He is.
He's kick inside 50. There's another whistle. It's going Port Adelaide's way this time.
Buddy, again.
You just never know. The whistle blows. It could go either way. Late in the last quarter, it went Franklin's way this time. It went Aaliyah's way. He can get Port Adelaide out of trouble.
How crucial for New Farm Australian through and through could that Franklin miss be late in the third quarter? So they clear to the outer side once more. Majority of the play that side with the breeze, like we keep saying tonight, is favouring the outer side of the ground from our commentary position. And again, Aaliyah's got Franklin in all sorts, as we mentioned. So the ball up, 70 from Sydney goal. Kick into the left of your radio dial. Laddams gets a clearing kick inside 50 to Franklin on the half volley. He wheeled one way, the other. Kick cut off, nice and short, and cut off by Travis Boak. A little bit of work, and Marty off the ball. Boak called to play on, goes square, again to the outer side. Gets to Dersma, off the bounce. He wheeled around, up and inboard, and only Sydney players at home, and a good mark taken by Luke Parker. Plays on quickly. Campbell in support on his left. Wider again. Plenty of space here for Errol Goulden. Is Dad fully Turkish, Errol Goulden? Which I learnt during the week.
Fully Turkish?
Yeah, as in full Turkish. Lowered the eyes. And that wasn't a Turkish delight like the chocolate. It tasted bad and it looked bad too. The Port Adelaide looked to clear from half-back.
Well, Turkish delight is awful, so...
worst chocolate out there.
Reflective of the kick. Bergman now has it for Port Adelaide. Kicks towards the wing. And coming out, Powell Pepper marks and releases a handball to Boak, who was running past into an open forward line. Marshall juggling. No, not quite. Good defensive work there by Rampy and Blakey. Dixon tries to get in and help out. Loses out to Florent. Handball straight into the mess. It'll be thrown up 45 metres from Port Adelaide's goal.
Just realised fully Turkish sounds bad, doesn't it?
Thrown up. Wells needs a bit of a break, I think. It's been a long day. No one can break clear from the contest. There's 15 players around this one. Butters just picks it up and handballs it over his head. Marshall comes out strongly. So too Parker. Marshall upends Parker. Terrific tackle. Campbell in there now. He's tackled by Powell Pepper. It'll be thrown up. It's tough at the moment.
Behind you.
It really is hard yakka tough in there. 30 metres out from Port Adelaide's goal. Laddams wins the tap down. Goulden gets a high tackle and gets a free kick against Butters.
He does lead and look for those, doesn't he, Goulden? It's a bit of a trait, but anyway, he gets the free kick, so we press on.
Short one to Campbell. Switch now on. Uses Jake Lloyd. It's a little dinky handball over the top. Finds Robbie Fox, who was activated early, first 5 minutes of the game, the sub, in fact. And free kick paid. Was it a free kick or a mark?
Straight to him.
Straight to him, turnover. Looking for Powell Pepper in the forward line. He's normally good at the one-on-ones, had no support. Ball goes over the boundary. And as John Longmire, we get under the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready. He is screaming orders down on the boundary line for Spitwater.
The Swans key defenders, pseudo key defenders, because both McCartans are gone. They've done a great job. I'm talking about Rampy and Blakey, because Marshall's had 6 and no score, Dixon 8 and no score.
Wines and Campbell and Parker all dive on the ball. It'll be thrown up.
Just around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. St Kilda 94, lead Gold Coast 41, and there's 16 minutes remaining in the last quarter.
It's a whacking. 53 points and 100 more disposals, St Kilda. Laddams jumps up. Loses out to Butters, who got the handball to Dersma. You could hear from the umpire then. The kick didn't go 15, so they'll jump in on loose footy and then it'll be thrown up. Still 40 metres out from Port's goal. They need the next one. They're 14 down. 16 to play in the last term. Ball gets thrown up. Dixon just throws Laddams out of the contest, and Laddams will get the free kick.
What's the free kick count today?
Give me a moment.
Laddams,
seems like a lot.
Yeah, it does. Laddams gives the handball to Campbell, who was running past. Flares it out to the open side to Blakey.
Here he goes.
Who hits the Jets with a bounce. Runs a long way. Then gave it to Mills, who was standing still. Kicks to the top of the 50. Heaney couldn't take the mark. Rowbottom with a big tackle again on Houston. And it'll be thrown up once more.
That free kick count for safety still sheds. 27 to the Swans, 18 to the Power.
Ball to be thrown up. Lycett again with Laddams. Laddams wins it down, taken though by Bergman. Handballs to Butters, back to Bergman. Bergman through the traffic, did well. Took a bounce, then kicks from the middle towards half forward. It's a wide kick. Dixon's outnumbered. Swans prevail again. Rampy giving the handball out towards Campbell.
So Blakey, great kick, finds Hayward right at the interchange gate. Down on the boundary for Spitwater, tough and ready. Next goal crucial for New Farm, Australian through and through. Hayward at the interchange. Just tease one up towards the paint of 50. Big pack form, Buddy got to the front. Millsy got a small kick away. Heaney leads a chase. It bounces 1-2 over the boundary line in the pocket. 10 metres around from the left forward pocket as Amadi gets up gingerly.
Looks like a racehorse with all that tape on his leg.
Wouldn't be a good one if it had the tape on the leg. Boundary throw in. Laddams trying to work to the front in that ruck contest. Wines got to the front, maybe a quieter night for his regard. Slipped over, ridden in by Heaney. Boak, he tried to flick the handball out and went over the boundary line, and he's going to get a free kick here for holding the man after he disposed of it against Rowbottom. Tackle may still count for Toro, and Boak. Cross goal. Bergman, another cross goal, danger kick again to try to find Dersma. One way or the other, and he takes a bounce, tucks it under his arm, away he goes.
He does, and he kicks towards half forward. Just open territory here, although doing extremely well was Blakey, who held, with a bit of help from Mills, got it back again to Rowbottom, gets dumped as he kicks it, but it's okay. Stevens has taken the mark. It's Hayward just outside the 50. He kicks up towards Stevens, who couldn't take the mark. He got knocked over. Aliir can't pick up the loose ball. Eventually does. On hands and knees, gets the handball out. Trying to kick it off the ground was Mead under pressure. Then slaps it away from the contest towards the boundary and eventually finds it.
Just got to find something here, Port. They're happy to engage in what they did early in the game, which was a little bit sloppy. They've only kicked 5 goals for the game. They've got to find 3 in the last 14 minutes to win the game. That's minimum.
Blakey did so well before just to attack the contest. Warner now, he gets his kick smothered. Got it back though, handball to Mills. Now to Parker. Parker 70 from goal. Centering ball. Up goes Heaney! And Isaac Heaney marks 30 metres out from goal, directly in front, and that could be the New Farm crucial moment. Australian through and through. And if this goes through, it might be good night Port Adelaide.
May also be a mark of the day contender thanks to flights. And Isaac Heaney does the one. Just outpointed Tom Jonas, who was all at sea back there.
Straight in front, Isaac Heaney to give Sydney a 20-point lead. And he does just that. He's first for the night. Sydney 8-10-58, Port Adelaide 5-8-38, 13 to play in the final term, and that is on the Trojan Tools scoreboard. Tools built tough.
Yeah, it was a nice piece of play from Heaney. He just read the footy nicely. We know how good he is playing as a medium to tall-sized full forward. He's a very good mark overhead. He just outpointed Jonas, as I mentioned. Was able to pick up the drop zone quickly. Jonas was on his back foot, and Heaney was able to take a nice mark. It was a contested mark in the end, but he did his work early. And at 20 points, when you've only kicked 5 goals for the game, now you've got to find 4 in 13 minutes. It's going to be mighty, mighty tough for Port.
8-10-58, the Swans lead Port Adelaide. 5-8-38 on the Trojan Tools, trade quality tools at DIY prices scoreboard. And this is AFL Nation. Elders for Australian Agriculture back in the centre of the ground. Warner linked up with Parker. Now to Goulden on his left. They go up the centre half forward once more. Getting back there was McKenzie. Pushed his player underneath it. And a nice mark taken. So there's space up the centre of the ground. Finds Drew in the centre circle. He turned and burned and wheeled around. A fast inside 50 entry. Finlayson, he went up. He's going to get a free kick for holding. Advantage play on. It was touched off the boot and, maybe the advantage shouldn't have been taken. Finlayson had that directly in front, Josh Jenkins.
I think the Port player's entitled to play it out a little bit and that be brought back. I don't know that he really deliberately took the advantage knowing it was a free kick.
So through for a minor score. 5-9-39. They trail Sydney 8-10-58 on the Trojan Tools Built Tough scoreboard.
Lloyd kicks out to Heaney, who takes the mark at left half back for the Swans. He's really starting to get into the game. He comes up a little sore. I think he's okay, because Jonas kind of landed on him at ground level once the contest was completed. Short pass into Goulden, still defensive side of the wing. He wants to transfer play, so he'll go back inside defensive 50 to Rampy, who then spreads it to the outer side with a nice kick to Florent. Sydney by 19 points, 12 minutes remaining in the final term on the Trojan Tools scoreboard. The kick is over the head there of Goulden, which lets Port Adelaide in here. Butters picks up the loose ball. He's got Horne-Francis running with him. Gives the handball to Horne-Francis, who then kicks straight to McInerney of Sydney inside defensive 50 for the Swans. Poor kick.
Could be a put your foot down with confidence. Bendix breaks big moment. They had a chance there. Did Horne-Francis. So Campbell, left half back. On his left boot, just dinks one in short, didn't hit the target either. The turnover now, Horne-Francis spent it, he handballed wider though to Boak. Kick goes inboard, target Finlayson, mark taken, Powell Pepper was there, he plays on straight away, went one way on his left, the other way on his right, and found Sam Powell Pepper. So Powell Pepper tied in the pocket, only 3 or 4 metres in from the boundary. Finlayson's waiting there to wheel around. He looks up, 11 minutes remaining. The margin 19 points in favour of Sydney. And to say this is a must kick would be the understatement of the game.
Yeah.
He's had 10, kicked 1-1. Shoulders were steady. He looked like he hit it well. Umpire moves across and through for a minor. So the margin back to 3 straight goals, 18 points, 8-10-58. The Swans lead the Power, 5-10-40 on the Trojan Tools Built Tough scoreboard.
Junior Rioli's the player that's been subbed out for Port. Darcy Byrne-Jones into the game. Probably too little too late.
Swans chain it up towards the wing. Franklin, big contest in the middle, couldn't take the mark. Houston off the pack. Handballs to Aaliyah. Port Adelaide surging forward again. Byrne-Jones kicks to the 50.
Stand.
And the mark has been taken by McEntee. Now, it's going to take his best kick. We talked about this in the first half when we weren't sure he could make the distance.
He's a goal kicker in the SANFL,
yeah.
McEntee.
It's just whether he's got that range in these windy conditions here at the SCG. Half the quarter has elapsed. Port need this. Kicks it high and it does drift on the wind. And Dixon right near the point post. Couldn't quite take the mark with a one arm. The ball is cleared out of the danger zone and it's coming back. Insufficient intent to keep it in play. So Butters will take the free kick for Port. 60 from home, chipping ball, wants Dixon, finds Dixon, although Marty did the spoil quite well. McEntee got the handball out to Powell Pepper, swings onto his right, back to the top of the square, it's a bouncing ball. Finlayson had a chance at it, then off hands it goes through for a minor score. It's all messy, but Port are pushing late in this game. It's Sydney by 17 points, 9 minutes remaining.
Just saw that on the car sales, everything you ought to know replay. JJ, it looks like they've made the move with the Marty down back with the absence of the two McCartans.
Yeah, well, I guess with a 3-goal lead, it's not working for them in their forward line with 3 tall, so throw him back and let him help out aerially, and did a good job on Dixon, even though it potentially was an over-the-shoulder free kick.
58 plays 41, thanks to Trojan Tools Built Tough, and Elders for Australian Agriculture. This is AFL Nation. Miles Fitzner, Adam White, an 149 gamer, 296 goal kicking. Josh Jenkins with you. Just a little sort of tweak there on the knee for Dersma. Saw that on the car sales, everything you ought to know replay. Horne-Francis out of the pack. He looked, tried to find Williams. He just scurried the kick forward on his left. Campbell back there, tried to get a handball away, only went as far as Florent. Now the clearing kick out the centre wing far side. Horne-Francis was the first to meet it. Marty wrapped him up, sat on top, looked at the umpire and appealed. Umpire said no. I'll have it. 9 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Trojan Tools Built Tough.
Ball gets thrown up. Dixon wins it down. Mills got a hand on it, then lost it. Dixon again got the handball to Houston. Squeezes a kick under pressure inside 50. It tumbles out of play for a throw-in 40 metres out from Port's goal.
Just feels like that wind's picked up a fraction, pushing that ball over into that sort of pocket. We're calling it the Victor Trumper pocket on the Paddington end. A lot of the footy being played here, Whitey.
Safety Steel Sheds stats: Florent 29, Warner 28. Finlayson gouges a kick forward, about 30 out from Port Adelaide's goal. Darcy Byrne-Jones, standing start kick, and we're going upstairs again.
So
this is the other goal, umpire.
At the same end, though.
It's at the same end. It was very close. The umpire thinks it was touched.
Review underway.
Put a timer on this.
Oh, again, that angle's not helping anyone.
No, it's not. So we're going from behind the goals there. We want the one that's in the goal post, and it's like it's sort of rolled down the arm of Rampy.
You can see the ball makes contact with the Sydney defender before crossing the back of the goal.
So it'll be a behind. A goal-saving
He made a bit of a meal of it, didn't he?
He did.
Job done, but
kind of out of nowhere, that kick from Byrne-Jones.
It was, yeah. He's
But
added
it's
a
only
little
behind.
bit. He's added a little
He
bit,
has.
Byrne-Jones.
Sydney by 16 now, 8.5 gone. So Port's still surging. They can't get a goal for their efforts.
Stay behind. Play on.
Lloyd out of fullback, runs out of the goal square. Looks to our commentary side, up the line, and flight the front came from Bergman. He couldn't mark. McInerney and Drew are in there as well. Jonas on his knees. Scampering, no clear possession to speak of. Out the back now, McInerney kicks across his body over towards the interchange gate, sort of sat up in the wind. Horn Francis flicked the handball out. It only went as far as Mackenzie, went one way the other. Chip out towards the pocket. Marshall, the intended target. They played a free kick here, and it's against Rampy. I'm not really sure.
I think it was just a bit of body work, which would have been okay, but it was just a little bit early. Just having a look on the replay now for car sales, everything you want to know is the kick goes inside 50, and I think the work, the body work's pretty good. Marshall probably falls over a bit soon, not expecting the contact, but...
Quiet night for Marshall, only the 6 touches. Must-needed goal here if there any hope. Same shot as Powell Pepper before, and he has hit that as sweet as you like, and maybe the power's not out at the SCG. 6-12-48, they trail by 10. 8-10-58 the Swans. 10 points the margin, 7:20 remaining in the last quarter on AFL Nation for Elders for Australian Ag. Oh, could be game on. Could be game on.
You reckon, Josh, that they need one more, Sydney? I just feel that they've almost switched off once Heaney kicked that goal.
There's still 7.5 minutes to go. There's a heap of time, but sometimes in these games it can feel like fool's gold. We're only 3 goals behind. But when you've only kicked 5 or 6, that is still a fair portion of your score you've got to make up. But Port Adelaide are genuinely in this. They've kicked goals in spurts. So Sydney kicked 5 in a row, and then Port were able to kick 5 in a row. So they're genuinely back in this. It was a nice finish from Marshall. It's always good when a big forward hasn't done much. You get an opportunity late in the game, you've got to make the most of it, and he did that.
Dixon in the ruck, wins it down. Rosie kicks it off the ground. It's a big kick inside 50, stretching Marshall. Couldn't mark. Powell Pepper through the traffic. Couldn't quite get his boot to ball. Sydney with the numbers at the goal square. They keep it in play, Port Adelaide. Somehow, it's a mess. There's so many players around it. Oh, McInerney tackled. Could have been holding the ball. Rosie charges in on the loose footy. He's tackled. It'll be thrown up. McInerney very lucky.
Not certain he didn't hit his head either on the way down.
Oh, he didn't dispose of the ball.
He hit his head. He'll get taken off. The doctors will see that and take him from the ground.
Yep. Finlayson tried to kick it out of mid-air almost. McInerney gets a handball out to Blakey. His kick smothered. Ricochets into the pocket. Darcy Byrne-Jones keeps it in play. Centering ball into a dangerous spot. Whistle. Free kick, Port Adelaide. And it's going to Rosie against Parker.
I don't think he can get his arms up. You're on the
And he can narrow the margin to 4 points here. Connor Rosie. Good kick from Byrne-Jones to a dangerous spot.
Oh, that's
there it is.
He's holding his arm.
The umpires were onto that stuff in the first half, but they've missed that one. Rosie's actually holding Parker's arm first.
For 2 in a row, Rosie 40 out from goal, straight in front. He's got it. He has got it. 4 points the difference. Sydney still in front, but Port are coming. 8-10-58 Sydney. Port Adelaide 7-12-54 with 6 minutes remaining in the final term. The scoreboard, the Trojan Tools scoreboard. Tools built tough.
There's your crucial moment for New Farm, Australian through and through.
We're getting a few in the last quarter, aren't we?
They're getting their money's worth. They're getting their money's worth. That was it was crafty from Rosie. The umpires had been onto that early in the game, but Parker got pinched for that one. Probably wasn't there. Rosie doesn't care. He goes back and kicks truly. I'll be interested to see whether the doctors... Typically, the doctors will watch every contest and then be able to see that McInerney hit his head on the ground. He also felt for his head, but so it's a bit of a watch his space there with McInerney.
That kick from Burn-Jones could be a contender for Play of the Day for visit mildura.com.au. Just smart, squaring the ball up. 58 plays 54, 4 points to margin thanks to Trojan Tools. Tools built tough. Game on. Laddams. Goulden. Now with the clearance. They go forward. Sydney haven't been there for a while. Good mark. Taken by Dylan Williams, back with the flight. And he reached out well. Dixon, he has up centre wing far side. Laddams with a spoil. Drew front and centre. He kicks it up the line. Another couple of contests coming. Blakey, he was there, turning on a dime. Marshall went back, found Burn-Jones again. Inside 50, found a target. That's 2 in a row, finds Jed McEntee this time. Game number 11. Probably the most important kick of his career. They trail by 4, but the composure, Josh Jenkins of Darcy Burn-Jones, twice in a minute and a half to lower the eyes and hit a target.
He's added a fair bit. He's come on only 10 or so minutes ago. He's had 3 disposals, almost kicked a goal, set up a shot for goal. 4 disposals, in fact. Sets this one up.
So McEntee to hit the front. Jed McEntee, he hits it sweet. Port Adelaide hit the front with 5 minutes to go. Longmire going berserk on the boundary line. 2 points to margin, and they've come in surges, the Power. 8-12-60, they lead Sydney. 8-10-58 on the Trojan Tools built tough scoreboard. Don't go anywhere.
I'll tell you probably the biggest difference in the game. Sydney are playing with 21. Port Adelaide are playing with 22, including one who is super fit and ready to rock and roll. His name's Darcy Burn-Jones. He's only been on the ground for 10 minutes.
And had a big impact.
He has. So not only is it a mismatch in terms of 22 versus 21, one of Port's 22 is the fittest and fastest man on the ground.
Remember, Port Adelaide have won their last 6 against Sydney Swans, and may the hoodoo continue. 2 points to margin thanks to Trojan Tools built tough.
Bounce back in the middle. It's a perfect one as well. And in the end, almost getting his head taken off was Goulden. Wines with the tackle. He's given the quick handball release. Florent coming through. The kick inside 50. Mark dropped by Papley. Goes at it and picks up his own mess. Gives the handball to Mills. Mills' kick smothered. Dixon in defence. He gets the handball that ricochets away. Wine scoops it up. Handballs to Rosie. He's tackled. Handballs over his head. Lloyd for the Swans somehow gets it out to McInerney. Then Goulden. Rowbottom gets taken high. He'll get the free kick on the logo.
There were 3 throws in a row.
There was all sorts of things going on there, Miles. It's frantic at the moment here at the SCG. Port by 2 points. Rowbottom gives the handball to Fox. Dicey little handball to Lloyd. Took it on the bounce. Had to give it back to Fox. He's in trouble. Fox handballs inside to Lloyd again. Caught on his left. Kicks to the 50. Laddams couldn't quite take the mark. Got a handball out though towards Blakey. Blakey's wide kick is clever. McInerney could have gone deep to the pocket. Decided not to. Runs inboard. Now kicks to the top of the square. Franklin couldn't take the mark at ground level. It's all Port. Williams gives a handball out to McKenzie. McKenzie measures a ball and Port will clear.
Williams been exceptional late.
It's coming back. It's coming
ball goes out
back.
of bounds on the full. Florent contender. 2 for our Whirlpool Kitchen and Laundry Appliances player of the day. Sidestep the tackler. Evades a would-be tackler. Inside 50 he goes. Huge pack forming. Big flyer Marty. But the bigger fly came from Charlie Dixon. What's he doing down there to start with?
He's in the ruck at the moment. Lysette's not playing in the ruck. It's Dixon who's gone back, and that's a big mark.
Dixon, wider, uncontested now. Finlayson, Blakey yelling at a teammate. So 3 minutes 10 remain. 2 points to margin thanks to Trojan Tools, is AFL Nation for Tide Power and Elders for Australian Agriculture. Up the wing they go. Marshall the intended target. Over the back it goes. Florent. He snaps over his shoulder. Blakey sat underneath it. He got manhandled there. Advantage play on. No. Umpire said bring it back. So they're rolling the dice, the Swans. They have to. No option. The kick back to Blakey is over his head. Now, that has to be 50 metres if you don't give the ball back.
Not even watching. He needed...
He's kicked it.
Paid it.
And another umpire's paid it.
Yeah.
You can't kick the ball back 15 metres over the head. One umpire knew it. So the secondary had to call it, Josh Jenkins.
It's a shame. It's a shame it's going to result in a shot at goal, but it was. You can't kick it that poorly.
Charlie Dixon went to kick it back to Blakey, he's kicked it.
It's gone 15 metres over his head.
And the umpire on the mark didn't call it, but an umpire sitting outside did.
That's why they're a team.
Yeah, well, I'd rather the right decision be made, and it was. But the other one, I don't think he had the stones to call it, Whitey. The one on the mark. Blakey, 45-degree angle, 40 out to go 4 points up. Blakey hits it on his left, and he loves it. The Lizard. Blakey kicks a goal. Another lead change. 2.5 minutes remaining. The Swans hit the front by 4.
I think it's safe to say we got the close one. St Kilda by 47 points.
Who'd want to be there?
We
Who'd
want to be here.
there? No one.
Where are we? It's costly from Charlie Dixon. He probably didn't mean it. It was more careless than it was deliberate.
It was a skill error as opposed to anything else.
But it's a costly one because Nick Blakey's walked down inside 50 and gone bang. There was no issue there. So we're seeing again on the car sales, everything you want to know replay. It just misses by too far.
He was so preoccupied about getting back to helping defence, he kind of rushed the kick.
Forgot to kick it properly.
And that's Kenny Williams' partner.
Yeah.
Down on the boundary, we're seeing on the car sales replay. They're digging deep for Kenny, the Swans.
Dixon takes it out of the ruck and gets clear and kicks inside 50. No mark taken. It's at the top of the square. It's a loose football. Horn Francis gives a handball out to Dersma. Snaps towards goal. Not quite. Yes, mark! Oh, what a mark to Finlayson. That is spectacular.
What a mark.
It was a wrestle at the top of the square and he was able to control the ball with his right arm and then hold it before it hit the turf with 2. And he has a chance to put Port Adelaide back in front.
And he's very good at these around the corner. Very good.
Jeremy Finlayson. 20 metres out, snaps it, and it's close.
Jeez,
it's close.
I don't know.
It's a goal. It is a goal.
Oh,
and
boy.
Port Adelaide are in front by 2 points with 90 seconds to play. He made the goal umpire work. He made him move to the right, but it's a goal.
Was it definitely a goal?
It's as tight as you get that.
I thought I heard a whistle. That we might have been going upstairs again.
So down on the boundary for Spitwater, the power, I think it's Chris Davies, the football manager. They've got to get someone else to do that type of job. He's too high and mighty to do that, but he's holding up a sign that says +1. So the wingers will get back as far as they can on the centre square. They'll run back and form the +1, and the forwards have got to come straight up and get some extras around the ball. Port Adelaide don't need to score. Sydney, they're going to get aggressive.
It's a third goal to Jeremy Finlayson. Adelaide's lead 2 points.
Back in the centre of the ground, beating it was Horn Francis off centre half forward. He goes inside Rosie. They're coming, the power. Wines, he can't gather. Scrappy footy in underneath. Houston, Warner, he gets a clearance. Up towards centre half forward, coming out to meet it Marshall. There's a +1 on cue. Farrell, he goes out to centre wing. So a clearing kick from Port Adelaide. There's a free kick against Rampy. Chain of handballs, Stevens. He goes up the wing, no one at home. Ball goes over the boundary, does it? No. Warner, sidestep one way, the other, tried to flick to a teammate. He's come out now to Parker, put his head over it. Met by Dixon, big tackle. Steaming in was Powell Pepper. Umpire's going to say, give it to me, we'll have a ball up, 50 seconds remaining.
Well,
this is amazing.
They're going to get their chance. They're going to get a chance.
There'll be a throw up. Outer side of the ground, Sydney fractionally in attack. Laddams took it out of the air, kicked it straight to Horn Francis. Not 15, play on. Rosie clears for Port Adelaide into a vacant forward 50, but Sydney get back there first. Rampy, this is the last roll of the dice. Rampy's kick to Heaney in the middle, who kicks long inside 50. Is a mark to Florence. A mark to Ollie Florence.
This will be after the siren.
47 metres out from goal, right of centre.
This will be after this, on or after the siren.
There is 18 seconds remaining. Ollie Florent was all alone at right half forward. They moved it quickly. They moved it straight down the middle. And Ollie Florent can be a hero. He'll kick as the siren sounds.
Oh, it's going to go as he kicks.
He's had 32 disposals tonight. None more important than this. And he has kicked the goal. No! It's not scored. It's not scored. It's been right on the line. Florent is celebrating. Florent is celebrating with his teammates. But it didn't make the distance.
It didn't make
and
it.
Alia is the hero on the line.
He's stunned. He can't believe it hasn't made it.
That is extraordinary. It was a perfect kick for accuracy, but it wasn't a perfect kick for distance.
He is stunned.
That is unbelievable. Port Adelaide, they have won.
They've won.
They have won. It is a famous victory for Port Adelaide. The 7th time in a row, the Power has defeated the Swans by 2 points.
It's more than a sport, it's a true Port Adelaide tradition. We'll never stop till we're top. There's history here in the making. We've got the power to win. We'll never give in till the flag is ours for the taking.
9-12-66. Port Adelaide defeat the Sydney Swans at the SCG 9-10-64. And for local expert, a job well done. Josh Jenkins, your immediate thoughts?
Oh, just what a game. Credit to both teams, but it's a win and it's a lost business. Port Adelaide win the game. I'll tell you what, I was told a story once about a grand final in the Bendigo Footy League that was decided by an air pocket. I think Ollie Florent is stunned, and generally when you've kicked a footy, you know how far out you are and you know how you've kicked it. He's stunned that ball hasn't made it.
Well, I've got to apologise to Sydney fans because we called it as a goal because we went on the celebration.
It was dead straight. It was
the
dead
crowd
straight.
was cheering. Ollie was cheering. It just didn't quite get there.
It didn't quite get there, and he was stunned. It didn't travel 50. It's probably gone about 48 metres, and Alia was the primary man on the line who was able to stop it from going through. It could have gone through for a point. Of course, a 2-point margin, they still would have won the game, but you've got to give so much credit to Port. Their first 20 minutes was so ugly. They were all at sea. They changed the way they were playing a little bit. Some of their good young players got busy. Some of their very young players got involved in the game. And great, I want to give great credit, and we'll speak about him more, Jeremy Finlayson, not just because of the late goal, but he's had to toil away. He's got a lot of things going on away from footy that must take up so much of his energy, and for good reason. For him to stand up and be big and tall, Dixon and Marshall did next to nothing. Finlayson stands up, kicks 3, kicks the late one. I'd love to have a look at that goal from above the goal post. Here we go here. Speak of the devil. Come on, give us a look at it. I'm not convinced that was a goal either, but it is. It's in the scorebook, 9-12 to 9-10. The Power win. What a win.
What a win it was. This is the post-game show now for La Cabra Modern Mexican. And let's start working through them, boys. We've got about 10 minutes before we jump off. Our crucial moment, well, for New Farm, Australian through and through. Geez, we go back to that Franklin miss right on the three-quarter time siren, and with a margin like that. But, JJ, your crucial moment for New Farm, Australian through and through.
Well, I think it's got to be Finlayson's mark and goal into Florence. Goal that didn't make it. It doesn't get much more dramatic than that, so take your pick.
We've talked about the tackler of the game for Toro.
Yep, he's ended up with 13.
To get the job done. He was amazing, wasn't he?
He's a great tackler. Only 12 disposals, but 13 tackles. So James Rowbottom, the Toro tackler of the game.
I've got a feeling I know what the play of the day for Mildura Regional Development is going to be. A magical experience awaits in Mildura. Visit mildura.com.au.
What a mark, what a goal. The game winner for Jeremy Finlayson. That is your play of the day for Mildura Regional Development.
What about our toughest player for Hardyacker Legendary Gear?
I think you could take your pick tonight. There were players more than happy to put themselves in the fight. Connor Rosey down there on the ground doing an interview at the moment. He's got a black eye with with a bandage across his eye. He won't be the only one. Heaney was sore at different stages. Laddams was sore in the ruck. It was a brutal clash, and I think everyone out there deserves except maybe Jason Horne-Francis because he doesn't like them, but everyone else will be having an ice bath.
And that's for Hardyaker, for a new breed of legends. Unmissable moments for Drinkwise. Choose to Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you Drinkwise.
The last quarter was pretty unmissable.
Is this replay of Alia's? They've gone and celebrated and congratulated him like he saved this. We haven't seen one yet, but has he done something on the line that's nothing short of mercurial?
Well, I think he was just Johnny on the spot. I just don't. It just didn't make it. Yeah, quite remarkable that Florent. Just generally, when you've kicked a footy, you know whether it's going to make it or not.
He was on the deck. They were piling on him like he'd gone through.
Well, and he sat up and thought, hang on, what do you mean it didn't go through?
We knew that it was right on line. It never deviated from the middle of the goals.
Didn't shift once. It was as straight as a dead set die.
Well, the big moment for Bendix, put your foot down with confidence, Bendix breaks. I mean, it has to be that last moment, obviously, because that's huge for Port Adelaide to now get that second win. They're back 2-2. But getting that win, Josh, away from home.
Yeah, massive for it. Can kickstart their season on the back of a showdown loss where they would have been savaged in Adelaide this week. They would have been hammered from pillar to post. Tom Jonas's position as captain and his spot in the 22 was questioned. A lot of these younger players who are supposed to take the club forward have been questioned. So that's a massive, massive win for them. They get the home game thanks to Gather Round next week, and those types of wins can absolutely change the course of your season.
Just on that, they get 4 of their next 6 at Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide.
Massive. Here we go. We're getting a look at it. So he's kicked it from about 46. It just stops. It just stops.
Alia jumps over Laddams. Look at this.
It just dead set
Look at
stops.
This. Buddy pushed forward.
It's half a metre short.
So Buddy had fallen over.
Buddy gives away a free kick on the goal line too.
He'd taken off. Florida had taken off. And celebrated. Oh, no.
Heartbreaking, too.
You even see Mills celebrating and running off the line. That is an early crow of early crows.
You'll have a bit of fun with it. Look at Kenny.
Look at him get around him. We've got to keep going here, boys. Getting caught up in the replays for car sales. And Amy Clanger, who covers Clangers on and off the field. Amy does. I know what this is going to be.
Unfortunately, we just saw those two boys laying on the ground celebrating a goal, which didn't make it.
What about the fake handball off the umpire's call?
Oh, that was a long time ago. A fair bit's happened since then, but hopefully one day Ollie Florent can laugh about that, but it won't be tomorrow.
Smart play for Australian made. Look for the logo. Be sure it's Australian made.
Well, Alia to be so switched on the line and not worry about all the kerfuffle around him and just focus on that footy and save the game. Win the game, in fact.
Support Aussie-made products.
The mark of the day for Flight Centre, your real deal centre. I mean, it has to be Finlayson, doesn't it?
Yep, that was a super mark.
We'll go back to the power play rankings. Who ran the most kilometres today? They need a good night's sleep from the original Mattress Factory. Upgrade your sleep game online or in-store today.
I reckon Nick Blakey would have had the high-speed meters.
Certainly would. Let's go down to the rooms for the song. Victorious by 2 points, 9-12-66. They beat the Swans 9-10-64. What about our power play rankings for Red Energy? Switch to Red Energy.
Power play rankings, here we go. Just trying to work my votes out here, boys. Ollie Florent, 122, Warner, 109, Lloyd, 98, and Goulden, 95. For the power, Finlayson had 102. Dersma 86 and Butters 83.
The MEGT Rookie of the Day need apprentices. Talk to MEGT.
I'll stick with Dylan Williams. I gave him the nod at half time. 16 disposals, 13 kicks. Yeah, I thought he was very good.
Let MEGT help you find the best workforce talent. Now the votes
for
here
we are
AFL
tough.
Player of the Year for Whirlpool, your leader in kitchen and laundry appliances.
You haven't given me long, but...
we can wait.
We might just talk about them ourselves, just while we give you a moment to do them. But there's going to be a host of players that, not that we're going to influence your decision at all, JJ, because you row your own boat, but... Wowee. You would have sworn Florent was the best on the ground for the first half.
Well, Miles, had Florent kicked that goal, he would have finished with 33 disposals and 2 goals. Now, when you look at disposals, I know Josh has sort of gone through some of them. Florent, 33, Warner, 30 in the midfield. Butters, 27 for Port. Those three in the midfield were really good. But, gee, there were some moment players that in a low-scoring game, Josh, that they become just as influential. And,
and they're not
just the stats.
They don't count as, they only count as one kick or one mark or one handball, but they mean so much more than that. And Aliir spoiled counts for nothing.
But he was superb
but it wins
all
the
night.
game.
Yeah.
Nothing short of superb all night, Aliir.
One thing with that Florent shot for goal, we kept talking about it all night about the wind and the wind pushing that far side of the outer side.
See, Mills took off and realised he should have been shepherding.
He did. That's a great call.
But he got pushed.
It just stopped.
They needed a couple shepherding on the line.
So he was essentially kicking into that wind.
Florent's taken off. That's going to get played all week.
Mills, you're right, though. Mills was in that goal square and he was off celebrating and forgot to stay on the line.
Forgot to stay on the line. Yeah, and it's just caught in the wind and dropped. Oh, you haven't seen scenes like that from Ken Hinkley?
No.
Unless it's big showdown wins.
Yeah. Well, he knew he was under so much pressure. What a game.
Righto, so which way did you go for Whirlpool, your leader in kitchen and laundry appliances? This is going to be, this is as tough as you get, this.
Well, I've absolutely nailed it. I actually had Chad Warner written in. I had Chad Warner written in for one vote and changed my mind late in the piece. So Chad Warner, with his 30 and 2 goals, he is a late omission and he's an apology. So one vote I've given to Jeremy Finlayson. In the end, when the other two tall forwards do next to nothing, he stood up, he kicked 3 goals, he had 18 disposals, 8 marks laid, a couple of tackles, 405 metres gained. He kicks what becomes the game-winning goal. That's an outstanding performance from the big boy who has been battling for his spot in the side. 2 votes I gave to Ollie Florent. As you mentioned, he was the best player on the ground for a long, long time. 33 disposals, 24 of those kicks. I love players who kick the ball and don't just handball it.
888 metres gained.
888 metres gained. Played 90% game time for a midfielder and kicked a goal. Almost kicked 2. He was fantastic. But I gave 3 votes to Aliir. He saved the game at the end, but he completely torched Lance Franklin. If Lance Franklin was any other key forward, you'd be talking about him not playing next week. He absolutely handled him. He had 16 disposals, countless intercept possessions, and he kept Lance Franklin goalless. He was a stopper and he was a creator for the Power, and in the end, he saved and / won the game for them. So I thought Aliir. It's rare that the key backs get 3 votes. He deserved them.
That's a good call, Josh. I'm very happy with those votes.
Bang.
And I was very happy with him in round 1 too, by the way.
It's tough to geez Florent. I mean, if he kicks... I mean, if Sydney win, does it change?
Perhaps, but I guess we'll never know.
Well,
I guess we'll never know.
We've had a long day together, you and I. I reckon you're going to get home by the end of the day and say, geez, I'm sick of him. I'm dead sick of him.
I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week.
Florent was outstanding. It's a shame that someone has to feel as poorly as they do, but that's just the way it goes. It's a brutal game.
Hey, Whitey, can you just give us an around the grounds from what happened for the rest of the night, please, my friend?
Yes, I can, and it was a big win to St Kilda. We sort of lost interest in that game because the Saints were doing it so easily. Gold Coast got off to a pretty good start, but after that, it was all the Saints. They've won 116-60, so a 53-point win to the Saints, and in the twilight game, a win to the Bulldogs by 5 points over Richmond, 89-84. And in the first game today on Easter Saturday, Adelaide by 39 points over Freo. But tonight, Port Adelaide by 2 points in a game that we'll be speaking about for so many reasons for the next few days.
Oh, there's plenty of stories to come out, from the technology in the arc to the free kick on the 50 to the kick after the siren. Very quickly, boys, St Kilda, Essendon Giants tomorrow. Whitey?
Essendon just
Essendon.
Giants for me. West Coast Melbourne. Whitey?
No, Melbourne comfortably.
Yeah, it could be 60-70.
I agree. Geelong Hawthorn. JJ can't tip.
Oh, just Geelong.
Geelong for me. Don't forget, you can stay with us for our Host Plus goal of the game, and that was the post-game show for La Cabra, home of goat Mexican food. JJ, you've been superb, mate.
Well done, boys.
Whitey, your calls, outstanding.
Great to do it with you again, Miles. It's been good fun.
Thanks for joining us on AFL Nation. Of course, all thanks to Tyre Power and, well, all our friends. We've had that many sponsors today. It's nothing short of it. We love every single one of you. Hey, what happened here? 9-10-64 to 9-12-66. The Power successful by 2 points at the SCG. Have a great Easter. Join us tomorrow on AFL Nation.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for